It's going to be a great study. All right. What do you guys see on the screen?
Lesson 3.
All right, that's good. So this is lesson, which we would call very simple. They use the word lesson. It starts with the letter L. Okay. This is something for you to learn. Okay. That L is a shepherd's staff in English. I mean, in Hebrew. Okay. And the lesson means lamed. Okay. Lamed. And lamed means to learn. And to learn something, someone has to teach. And it also means someone who's teaching has to be an instructor. Okay. And if you have an instructor, then you also have what they call a student. Okay. So when you look at all these different words that you could get out from the word lamed, it has all these meanings: to learn, to teach, to instruct, and a student. And it also means to take. Okay. So to take in the teaching. So you can see how one word has many other meanings. Okay. But it all has the same, it's all related to each other. Okay. So this is the lamad. Okay. Lesson number shalishi. Shalishi is the third. That's how you say 3. Okay. In order. You're going to get vocabulary words. Okay. These vocabulary words are all im, lifnei, akore, akar, min, and then you have from, and then you have that, which is asher, which is used like thousands of times. Our word, put it over here right quick. Ooh, are you tripping? It's called Ra'ah, meaning he saw. The bear, he spoke. Yatsa, he went out. You know, that was the name of our Torah portion this week. It's why Yatsa. Okay. And then Aretz is the land, which also can mean earth as well. Okay. Sefer, which is the book. Okay. And also means accounting, you know, to give an account. Like I said, there's many different things that are associated. So Sefer could mean a book, but a book has things that are accountings of it and records of it. Bayith is a house. Okay. So they're going to be using these words, and you should have 36 vocabulary words of all the lessons that you should know. One of the things that I do want to tell you about this is I want you to, you know, you guys know I've already told you my secret, and my secret to learning is you could sing this. Okay. You could sing these words. You know, I don't want you to go through the way that you've learned all your life, like all im, lifnei, akare, echar, min, asher. I don't want you to learn like that. That's the European way. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to find a way. Okay. I want you to find a way to put music. Okay. I want you to put some music to this. Okay. You guys hear what I'm saying? Why? Somebody tell me why do I want you to put music there?
Because it'll make it sound better, make you interested when to sound the word out.
Yeah, it'll make it sound better. And also too, when you do it, when you put music to it, you're more interested in it. And the kids, they can find a song that they want. It doesn't have to be, everyone doesn't have to follow the same song. They can find a whole nother song. Okay. But you got to put a beat to it. And it makes it interesting. Okay. So I got some little music here. Just want to give you a little demonstration. I'm not a singer at all, but it's the way that I learned it. I learned that if you did this old woman told me this. She was a mathematician and she was in the music. She said the fastest way you can learn something is learn by music. And you could do it. You can learn this on anything. Okay. So if you're going to school right now and you're going to college and you're doing classes or whatever, or you want to learn something, you put music to it, you'll learn it faster and it'll stay there longer. Okay. So sing the stuff. Don't just say it, sing it. Okay. So here we go. We got Pauline. So I'll go, if I don't know how to pronounce it, I'll go all in, leaf now, make a story. Okay. So I'm waiting for the song to come along because it's my introduction. Okay. But I'm gonna give you an example how you do it. Okay. All in leaf named Akubre, the accord the menia the shed the ra'a. The bear yatsa the rest to say fair the bayita all im the leaf nay. I said the Akubre accord the mina I shed the ra'a the bear yatsa the adrets the sefer bayit. Okay. And then also too, listen. I go back the other way. By the sefer, the adrets, the yatsa, the bear, the ra'a, the ole in the lifne, the akodre in the akar. I said the mina shed the ra'a, the bear, the yatsa, the adrets, the safer, the bayit, the safer, the bayit, the adrets, the yatsa, the da bear, the ra'a, the ole in the lifne. Oh, I caught the mini at shed the other the bear, the yatsa, the arrest, the safer, the bayit. Follow me, I'm going down the line. They all said all in, leaf name, akare, akar, menasher, ra'a the ver, the yatsa, the arrest, the safer, the bayit. The all in the leaf day. Okay, so then when I learn the words, right? With all in the leaf day, the akodre, the akar, the miniar share, the ra'ada, the bear, the yatsa adrets, the safer, the bayit. Now look, when I say the word, I'll look at the word that's next to it. Like instead of saying just all by itself, I'll say all, and I'm looking at the word all means on, right? So now that I see on, I'll go all the im. And so now instead of me looking at the Hebrew words, I look at the words on the side of them. So I know what they mean. So I know that lifnei is before and in front. So look, what I'll do now is if I need to focus on it, I'll look at before and in front and I'll say, lifnei, 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 lifnei. There's no rush. You could go to another word. He saw, ra'ah. You want that to stick? Then you go like this. Ra'ah, 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 and be looking at the word he saw. You guys understand? So you find your vibe, you find out what makes sense for you. Yatsa the adrets safer the bayit the ra'a bear. Yatsa the adrets the safer bayit the ole in the lifnei. The akore the mean the ad shed the ra'a the bear. The yatsa the adrets in the safer is a book and the adrets is the land. The yatsa as he went out, the bear he spoke, the ra'a he saw, the bayit house, right? That's what you do. Find your music, find your vibe, and it will stick with you. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, as in
That was
embarrassing.
tight, that way. No, that was nice.
Yeah. So I'm willing to make myself look foolish, right? So you guys can learn. Because when you do this, you're going to do it by yourself. You go do it at home. You go do it, and you could do it like that. And then once you get it right, you could go and you cover up one side of one. When you have your packet, you put a piece of paper over one side and just keep saying the Hebrew word all. That's on. M with the leaf name. Leaf name I care. They are called many asher. Ra'a the better yatsa. So every time you hear it, you'll be like, I know what yatsa is. I know what the bear is. Before you know it, you'll be like, I know what these words mean because you've been rehearsing them and you don't have to rush through them. If you want to make a story about he saw a book, where did he see the book? Right? On the house, all by it with who? The im leaf day, the akore, the many out of shed. You get religious. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You understand? You can have fun with it, okay? Or you can rap it, you can sing it, you can all the im the akore, akare the mina share the ra the bear the yatsa the other it's a safer by it is a house, safer is a book. I don't care what you got to do. You do what you got to do. and you find your flavor, you find your music, you find your vibe, and I'm telling you, that's how you're going to learn. Okay. Any questions?
What's the name of that beat that you're using?
Oh man, that was this beat right here is called a mix from Rick Ross and Jay-Z. Let me show it to you right quick just so you can see it. It's a mix between Rick Ross and Jay-Z. It's a free beat. You can go get it. And I would say, you know, when you go to these,
It's gonna be a great study.
yeah, I gotta make it great. If you guys are gonna be in my class, I want your time to be great. I want it to be fun. I don't want you
All right.
you know.
What do you guys see on the screen?
Oh, wait a minute, is that me? Oh,
Lesson.
it's lesson. Oh, it's
All
here.
right, that's good. So this
It's
is
here.
lesson.
Okay, that's hearing me. Okay, so that's my recording that they're doing right now. Let me see. Here you go. Oh, that's okay. Well, anyway, it's having a hard time. Can you see me now?
Yep.
Okay, so let me get back. I'll have to show it to you because the recording, every time I keep going back and forth somewhere, it might kick me out. So here it is. Now, can you see the lesson? Okay, it's a Rick Ross beat. It's for free. Okay, here's the lesson. In this lesson, we'll be discussing these letters. Okay, you know your letters. Your letters are the ones that you've been learning. Okay, which is the lamed, the bet, the mem, the kaf, and the shin. Okay. They're going to be these are also part of your vocabulary words because each one of these letters represent what they call a preposition. Okay. A preposition kind of lets you know the location of something. Is it on something? Is it in something? Is it beside something? Is it from something? And this is one of the rules. And so rule number 9 is going to tell us about these letters. Each individual letter, certain letters mean something in grammar. And this lesson is going to tell you that. Okay. So rule number 9 is dealing with prepositions. Okay. And sometimes prepositions are not just letters, but they can actually be words like lifnei. Lifnei is a preposition, means before, comes before. Okay. So let's look at the words book and bookcase. We know how to say book is sefer. We already learned that. It's in our vocabulary. So we could say any of the following. We could say the book is on the bookcase. So just imagine, open your mind. The book is on the bookcase. The book is in the bookcase. The book is beside the bookcase. The book is in front of the bookcase. The book is behind the bookcase, etc. Okay. So these words in, on, beside, etc., which describe where the book is in relation to the bookcase, are called in English prepositions. That's what it's called in English, prepositions. Okay. So the prepositions in Hebrew, prepositions fall into 2 categories. 2, and you'll get this lesson. A preposition that are complete words in their own right, like lifnei and all and different words like that. And then there's prepositions that are single letters, which is the lamed, the bet, the mem, the kof, and the shin, which are attached to the front of words. So those are the 2 categories. Okay. So complete words that we have like in our vocabulary up here. So I'm trying to show you what they're talking about. Like on, that's a preposition. With, that's a preposition. Lifnei, that's a preposition. After something, that's a preposition, or a carb, that is. Preposition, preposition, and preposition. Those are prepositions. But these are also prepositions. Lamed, the bet, the mem, and the kof, and the shin. When you put these on the front of a letter or front of a word, you know, it gives you the meaning, like it's 2 or 4, or, you know, with or on. So those are the 2 types, the 2 categories. When you talk about it, the prepositions are words. These are words, all in, lifnei, akare, and akar. Okay. And men, these are words. But this from right here can be represented by this letter right here, just by the mem by itself, if the mem is attached to the front of the word. Okay. And they're going to give us some examples because they always do. And I'm glad to see that you guys are here in your class today. Here you go. So prepositions that are complete words, that's part of the first category. So some of the most important or most common Hebrew prepositions are what? To, on, with, in front or before, and after and behind, and from. These are some of the most important ones. These are ones you're going to see all the time. Forgive the Ashkenazis because, again, they're going and they're changing. They say Dowid, and really the name is Dawid. Why did they say Dowid? Because they're trying to put the European spin on it. There is no Dowid or Dovid. There's no Dovid. It's blasphemous. It's Dawid. Okay. So forget about, I need them. I need them to help bring this about. Okay. That's all. And by the way, don't feel like we're robbing them by going and learning from their book. What we're doing is we're taking back what belongs to us. And we're making the corrections like you see right here. That's all we're doing. Okay. I'm not angry with them. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but they're talking to European people. Okay. With a European culture, which they call themselves Jewish. We're not Jewish. Okay. So these words that they're getting are all the words that are in the Torah. So they didn't come up with the word el. They didn't come up with all and im and lifnei and akare and min. All these words existed before the Jewish people. These are your words. You understand? They belong to you. All right. So first of all is el. That's why you got to learn how to read. So once you learn how to read, you can be like, okay, I know how to say this. And so if you know how to say it, all of a sudden you move from saying stuff to just knowing what it means. Okay. So you'll get used to it. You'll be like, oh, el means to, all means on, and im is with, and lifnei. These are all words, akare and akar and min. So there's your prepositions there. And here it is in an example, to David. So the prepositions go before. Prepositions are not after a word. Prepositions are before a word. Just like the letter lamed will be on a word before it. It precedes the actual word. Okay. So to Dawid would be El Dawid. How would you say on Dawid? How would you say it? Right here. Somebody say it. How do you say it?
All
All.
Dawid.
Yeah, it sounds like all. Okay. What it is a AH, which is that little marker right here at ah, and then the lamed. When you put those two sounds together, it's called all. Okay. So that's all. All Dawid. Okay. But you and I say, oh, all means everything. Now you're finding out that all in Hebrew means something different. So now you got to change. So remember, this is about your brain. If you say all in your brain, you think it's this. It means everything. Now you got to tell your brain in Hebrew, all means on. One of the things that you could remember this by is, what does this letter here is called an ayin. Ayin, okay? And what does an ayin mean? What is it? How's it represented in the language? What is it? What's the symbol? What's the symbol of it? Sounds very similar. It's called an ayin. So what do you think it has to do with? Your eye. Ayin. It has to do with your eye. That's what it means. It means eyeball. Okay. So you can have your eye, listen to me, on the staff. Have your eye upon the staff. It means on. Okay. So all, that's a good way to remember it. Okay. El means to. This is strength and this is staff. The strength of the staff, meaning to go to somewhere or for something. Okay. So there's different ways. Im means with. Lifnei, okay, means before or in front of. Okay. And this word paneh right here, or panah, means faces. So if you know once you learn this, you'll be like, okay, I know what it is. So when you say before David, you will go, or in front of David, you go lifnei Dawid. Lifnei Dawid. How do you say after or behind Dawid? You would say akare, or akar. Okay. Dawid. Those are your examples. Now feel free to ask questions. Okay. So that's how you do words. Very simple. And from David, min Dawid. Min means from, you know, and again, in the Hebrew, you would be like min. Oh, it sounds like men. That's min right there. So why would I say it doesn't make sense? Min. So what you hear and how it's spelled. So what we have to go off of is sometimes you can hear something and it'll make your brain. I say men, you think men, males, a whole bunch of them. If I say all, your mind goes to everything. So what you're doing is you're training your brain to, when you say these words, like men, you need to look at the letters. And then the letters will tell you that it's from, because the men right here, this letter mem, okay, that's the name of the first letter, and it means water. And it means from, to go from somewhere, okay? And the N is called a seed, which means a continuance. So a person who has to go get water goes from one place to the next. That's why they use the letter mem to mean from, because you got to go from your tent to go to the water or to the well to go get water. So you got to go from one place to the next. So I'm trying to help you make the connection between the letters that they're using and what the words that they're using to make some kind of connection for you, so you can see how it kind of fits. There's some things you're going to be able to understand, and other things you're not going to be able to put the pieces together. Okay. So now the prepositions that are in single letters are attached to the front of the words. So one is just words, and now we're talking about letters. So here are all the letters right here. You know, so le, be, me, ka, sh. So when I look over here, if I want to focus and I want to, and this is called a training exercise. I want to go and I want to look with my eyes. Put your eyes and look at these letters or these words. Okay, that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to read and go, oh, lament means 2 or 4. It'll take you forever. It'll take you forever to learn how this goes. I'm giving you all the stuff that Yah has been teaching me over the last couple of years, so you don't have to take as long. Okay. So when you look at this letter, I want you to make the sound, because that's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about letters. You're talking about sounds. Letters have sounds. So go, and when you say it, I want you to look at these, put your eyeballs, and I need you to stare. I need you to stare at these letters, at these words. And then I want you to close your eyes and go, and then see the 2 and 4, because it's all based on sound. Okay. When you're going to do the next one, you're going to go or b. Every time you say that v or that b, if it has a dot in it, it's the B sound. If it doesn't have, it's a V sound. You will see this letter with a dot in it, and sometimes you'll see it without the dot, but it still has the same meaning, in or with. What does it mean in Hebrew? The bet is the name of the letter. It means tent. And what is the tent? See, this is what I love about the language, because if you know the ancient, then it'll tell you how to deal with the modern. I know that a bet is a tent. And I know when you go with a tent, you got to go in a tent. Or when you're going and traveling with a tent. You understand? So the reason why they're using this is because you can only dwell in a tent. You got to go dwell in. So they're telling you the function. How does a bet function? It functions in or with. I hope you can see that. Why did they use the letter lamed? They used the letter lamed because it means a shepherd's staff. It means they are going to somewhere for some reason. You understand? Or the staff is used for something, to tame an animal. If you know that, you'll be like, okay, so what do we have? We got the pictures of what it means. You got the actual letter, what it looks like. You have actually the sound and what the sound means. Okay. You also not only have the picture, but you have, what does the picture mean? What's the function? How does it function? What's the action of the letter? Okay. You go in or with a tent. Okay. You go from one place to another to get what? This mem, which is water. You got the cough right here, which is what? the palm of the hand. And what do you do with the palm of the hand? You put stuff in the palm of the hand. And then you look at me online. You put something in your hand and you do spices or salts or whatever, or dirt, and you put it in your hand and you mix your other finger and try to figure out what it is. You kind of, use your hand, the palm, you put something in your hand to look at it, to say, what is this? Is this gold? Is this silver? What is it? You don't just leave it on the ground. You pick it up and you put it in your hand and you move all the dirt out of the way and you say, what is this? Is this a diamond? So that's when you can look at the cough, which is the palm of the hand. And it'll tell you what something is what? Like. Oh, it seems like it's such and such. You smell it. Put your palm up to your nose. It smells like what? It looks like what? But you got to do that in the palm of your hand. So now you see that the language, this is the beauty of coming to class, because I can explain all these things to you. I'm not just going to tell you the lamed is for, to, and for, and the bet is with, and mem is from, and the cough is like, and the shin is like that. And that's what it is. No. Understand the function of these letters, okay? Once you understand the function, you'll say, oh, I know why they're using it. So now that I know what the lamed is, I know what the sound is. It's an L sound. I know what the bet is, a B sound or a V, depending on if it doesn't have a dot. And this is a M sound. This is a K sound. And this is a sh sound. So if I want to understand what a preposition on the front of a word is, I'm going to practice b, v, m, k, sh. So now that I've done that, I'll say something and you tell me what am I talking about? Okay. So what did I just say? Two or what? 2 or 4. Depends on what the context is. I'll say, what does that mean?
From. Like.
Okay. Shh.
That.
Okay. Shh.
To that.
Yeah. I'm making up stuff for you, right? All right. Shh.
From that.
Yes. Shh.
Like that.
Yes. Perfect. So now you're getting it. Okay. Now, when you say to WID, you're not going to go lamed. You're going to go la. So let's go. Here you go. If I want to say, if I know how to say WID, I don't need to keep looking at the vowel points. The vowel points is out of my mind. I already accepted what my name is. I don't need this anymore. I don't need any of this. Nothing. Because I already know how these words are. I know what it means. And I want you to know how, just show you I'm getting rid of it. Those dots are there just to kind of, teach you how to sound it. Once you know how to say something, you're fine. So you don't have to say it anymore. So if I was to say to WID, what would I say? Come on, class participation is good for you.
Is it lit WID?
Yes. If I say to Sarah, what would I say?
Le Sarah.
Yeah, to Sarah. If I would say to Sarah, what would I say it?
Le Sarah.
Yes, I say to the house. The house is by it.
Le Bayit.
Yes. So what you see is a puzzle. What you see is me just adding to the front of something or subtracting from it. So in the case of you adding a preposition, you just put it on the front of the word and it'll tell you what the location is. It's to David or for David. Okay. If I say in or with Moshe, I can say what?
Is it Ba Moshe?
That's it. Ba Moshe.
Ba or Ba?
Ba. B-U-H. Okay. Not ba, but ba. And what I mean by because these 2 dots right here is a UH sound. Okay. Okay. The Ashkenazi says it's eh. le David, or be Moshe. It's not, it's but. It's a quick okay? So la David, ba Moshe, and I say from. Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim, Mim Mitzrayim. From is Mim, okay? Okay, Mim Mitzrayim, Kamalech, like a king, Kamalech, okay? And Sha'amar, and that he said, okay? Sh is that, and he is already implied, okay? It's implied because it's what? It's a perfect verb because it's past, it's 3 letters, it's perfect, it's Amar. So Sha'amar, okay? So when you say these prepositions, though, what I want to teach you is that I want you to say them first and then say the word, so you won't mix it up, okay? So you'll be able to be like, instead of you saying Kamalek, you're like, what? You said it too fast. Say Kamalek, Kamalek, or La David, or Ba Moshe, or Mim Mitzrayim, or She Amar. You have to be able to pronunciate the preposition as if it's by itself so people can hear what you just said. They can hear that sound. If I said La David, they were like, what? No, La David. Just like I'm talking to David, for David, in Moshe, from Egypt. I don't go from Egypt, like a king. That he said, I don't say, you don't talk like that. You talk in syllables. So syllabify each letter, syllabify each letter the way that it is on the preposition. So give time to let your lips say the preposition, okay? Any questions? Please note that these single letter prepositions can sometimes have other meanings. However, as their usages don't appear so frequently, we're not going to discuss them, not at this time. So you're going to get that little note as well, okay? Now, here's the better part. Here's called adding unto the prepositions. So this is still the same rule. We're still in rule number 9, okay? Now you're up to 9 rules. There's like 40 of them. You're almost there. Is that we're going to learn how by adding certain letters onto the end of a preposition that you can create small phrases. So you won't get a sentence, but you'll get a phrase. So the first list of all the letters that can be added onto or added on in their meanings. And then we'll see how, or some examples on how they can be used. Basically, what it's saying is with each preposition, you could take a preposition, which is a letters, okay, which are the lamed and the mem and the cough and all that kind of stuff. You could take those letters and you can add these endings to it. You can add me, you're gonna add ka, you're gonna add k, and you get o, a, nu, kim, can, and ain. This list is going to tell you all the different ones that you can add. And guess what it tells you? You got to learn this very well. Now, you know that what kind of letter, let me just expand it a little bit because I want to help facilitate the learning. I want to teach you how to say the prepositions properly. So let's just deal with the first couple. So how would you say me? How would you say this?
Is that A?
This is a dot. So remember, anytime you see a dot by itself, it's like the I and it. So it's okay? Sounds like 2 E's. But it's not E like in B. It's like as in it, or as in sit, or as in lit, or as in pit, okay? So anytime you see this dot right here, that's an I sound as in it, okay? Not I as in it. So when you see this, you're gonna go that means me, On the end of a word, it's okay? So these are endings. So once you see it, you got to know how to sound it, okay? This next one right here is a cough, a final cough. It's a final, because it's always at the end. That's why it's like that. And they call it what? They call it ka, like Chandra. Ka, ka. There, this one has 2 dots. This one doesn't make any sound. It's just k, k, k. This is ka, and this is just k, k, k. Okay, just a sound, just k. That's all you got to remember. Okay. One tells you it's masculine, and the other one tells you it's feminine. So if I have a masculine final, it always going to have that ka. If it's feminine, it's going to be k, 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 like as in ka. Okay. So ka, k, ka, k, ka, k, k. So what I do is I practice and say for masculine, ka, 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 ka. Now I'm gonna do the feminine. Ka, 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 ka. And when I say that what am I doing? Tell me what I'm doing. What am I doing? What am I looking at? You understand? So you got to train your brain. Training your brain in anything is you have to rehearse it. And so you're going through your practice like you would a guitar or a piano, and you rehearse it. On the end right here, this letter is going to be added onto the end of it, and it's a wa, but it has a dot over it, and that's a O sound. So it's O, O. You don't have to say wa, O. It's just O. Okay. The letter is a wa, but the sound, they're using the wa to pronunciate a vowel called O. So when I say something on him or it, meaning third person, it would say what? It would say oh. So if his name is Shame, that's name, and then I say Shemo, it means whose name? His name. Okay. So I say horse. If it's his horse, it would be what? Sus what? Suso.
Oh,
Suso, yes. It's his horse. Okay. If I was to say his name, it would be Shemo. If I was to say her name, it'd be Shema. Okay. Also, too, what I want you to recognize is that when they talk about masculine singular, it's talking about an individual, right? But also, you got to understand the me right here is in first person, talking about myself. The coughs, all right, are talking about a second person, okay, meaning you, singular, okay. Then you got the O here, which is a third person, him or it. Him or it. Something that's masculine can be it. Even though it's masculine, it doesn't always mean him, it can mean it, okay. The him is a person. The it is a horse. You understand? The I here can be third person for her. It's the third person for her or it. Okay, it could be her as a person or her as it as a feminine it, like a horse. Then you got us, which is a first person. This is singular up here, me. And then you got a first person, common, plural. Okay, it's because you're talking about a group. First person, common, plural. Us, a group of us. Okay, so then you use new for that. Then you got what? Kim. Well, what do you see in Kim and Ken? Oh, that's right. You see the letter cough. And then you see this ending right here. And then you see this ending right here. So what do we know? We know the cough up here because that's a cough. This is a cough. And that's in a singular. So I'm using a cough here, but it's in a different form. This is still a cough. But the cough here is what? It's a you again, but now it's not singular, it's plural. So you can have a cough that's singular, which is going to be these up here. And you can have a cough right here that's plural. There's those down there with another letter attached to it. What happens is that you and I are not aware because we didn't understand the language and we didn't understand the forms. It's not hard. It's just a puzzle. The cough up here is the same cough that's down here. It's just in a different form. Because the cough is not the last letter, it doesn't take on the last, it doesn't take on the final. Okay, if it's on the end of a word, it's single. If it's not the last letter, the last cough is not the last letter, then you know it's going to be plural. Especially because you have this M on there, this mem or this noon. The mem tells you that it's masculine. It'll be easy to remember. M, masculine, okay? Plural. N, feminine, plural, okay? Then you can see those same letters that they use on the end of the Kim and the Cain to what? They have these letters right here in common. The N, the mem, and the noon right here, these letters. So I wanted to show that to you. So when you look at it, you don't get all puzzled and be afraid. You're like, oh, this is so much, I can't learn it. Yes, you can. You'll say this is first person. Then you'll say this is second person. You'll say these here right here, third person. You'll go back again and say this is first person common plural. Then you'll say right here is second person plural. And then see, so you go into plurals. Then you go here is the third person plural. It's not hard. So if you know your first person, second person, third person singulars, then you should be able to know what your first person, second person common, and third person common plurals are. You should know that. And it's not hard. Because when I talk about me, I'm talking about an individual. When I talk about us, I'm talking about plural. This is common. Everyone has the same thing. It's all common. This right here is me, individual, first person. I'm talking about me. Then I'm going to talk me and you. We having a conversation. You're the second person. If I'm talking to male, it's you, single, Kel. If I talk about you, Chandra, you, second person, feminine, singular. If I say him or it, they're not here. We're talking about somebody else who's not here. They're the third party that I just mentioned. If I'm talking about her or something that's a female, that's it, I'm talking about third person. They're not part of the conversation. They're away from it. They're not in it. Okay. And when I say us, we're there. And then when we're talking, if I'm talking to you, a group of people, you and your individual males, I'm talking plural. And if that's the case, I'm going to put this right here on the end, Kim. If it's masculine, singular, is ka, right here. So either you're a ka or you're a Kim. If you're ka, you're singular. If you're Kim, you're plural, masculine. Both of them are masculine, but one is singular, one is plural. So what happened, you guys, with me is I was like, it kind of intimidated, like I got to learn all this stuff. But what I figured out is let me teach people how to look at it properly. And that's what they're not showing you here right now. That's why I find errors in the teaching style of the book, because it's not clear. Because they don't make it easy for you. That's first person, second person, third person. They figure you should know it, right? Then second person again. So what has changed? Nothing. There's always going to be first, second person, third person. There ain't no fourth person. There ain't no fifth person. And throughout all your Torah and your Hebrew teachings, this is the same pattern you're going to see everywhere. And by the way, Kim, look how I'm writing it backwards. The Kim is added in the Ka. Okay. These letters and these type of things like this are added. The U's here are added to the end of nouns. Okay. When you go to verbs and you're talking to a group of people or view an individual, the verbs are not going to use a Kim. They're not going to use a Ka. What they're going to use is a Tav or a Tim or a Tan. They're just going to change the letter from a Kaf to a Tav. And then when you get to learn the language, you're like, but I thought it was Kim. Yes, it is when it's a noun. When it's a verb, it changes. So it'd be a Tav in that. If it was a verb, if this is a verb, it'd be Tain. And this will be Tim. Instead of this being Ka right here for you, it'll be Ta. Okay. And if it was is this a perfect? No. Yeah, they don't have the ending for that. Okay. So you're going to see that. Just want to let you know so you won't get confused. Okay. So I'm already giving you the heads up so you don't have to try to figure it out. All right. So here's the examples. Now we said to us. Who wants to save to us? Who wants to do it? How do you say to? What sound does that make?
Just like a L. L.
It's a L sound, so make the L sound, just a sound.
L.
Yeah, that's all. And that's as simple as it is. How do you say us? New,
No. No.
just new.
New.
Because remember the Vav
Oh yeah.
on,
New.
on the top has an O sound. The Vav, that's an O sound. When you want a U sound, which is a U sound, it'd be a Vav with a dot on the side of it. And that equals the U sound, which is pronounced two O's, U. Okay. When the dot is over the top of on the Vav, it's operating as an O vowel. Okay. So it's an O vowel. See, this is why it's good that you're in class, because you can ask the questions. So when you look up here as this preposition, this right here is new. And it would be N-O-O, new, or N-U. Either way, how you want to do it. The Y here on the top is a O, which is right here. The Y with the on the side is the U, which is the U. So for you to say us by itself, you would just say new. That's all you would say, new. Okay. And it's just one of the pieces that you're going to add to your puzzle. So when you put the preposition puzzle together with the new ending, you got, how do you say to us?
La new.
La nu. Okay. Don't be afraid. Say it. La nu. So la nu. La nu. That's how you say it. That means to us. Okay. If I would say with them, okay. Us right here is common, plural, first person. A group of people is common, plural. We got everything in common because we're talking about a group. When I talk about with them, I got a third person. Okay. So when I hear the them, I always think about the last letter. So I know when I think about them, I know that the end of the letter on them is always going to be this. It's going to be that mem, because that mem matches that. It's that sound. It's them. You understand? So this is your key to let you know when you're talking about them, it's not a second person, it's not a first person, it is a third person. And it's not third person singular, it's a third person plural. So because it's third person plural, the ending on the third person plural is going to be this, like this. It's going to be this right here. Okay. So I know or im, and then they're going to remove that, and what they're going to put it together and call it what? With them. How do you say with them? That's im. Okay. Im. Write it out. Im. And then they got a dot right here. Make another im. Imam. Imam. That's how you say that. So they've added this, and that means them. This right here means with. See, and it tells you exactly what it is right here. So you add those two together and you got imam. So it's just putting pieces of a puzzle together. Okay. Just to let you know, anytime you see a dot inside of a word, or excuse me, a letter, it'll let you know that you got to double up on it. And when do you know to double up? When the letter is not in the first position, but in the second position. So if it was right here, which I'm not trying to confuse you, but when you ever see a dot, it's called a geminate. You're supposed to make two sounds. So one goes with this letter, and then the next one goes with this letter. So you're dividing this up into two mems. So here's the first M, and here's the second one. Okay, it's called a geminate. It's called twins. And so I make the first sound, which is im, and then I next the X one, mom. Imam. Okay, im, and then mom. Imam. That's how you say that. And don't worry, you'll get used to it. You'll see it. Okay, and you got to guess at it. And if you're wrong, so what? Because it's okay to make mistakes. Number 3. How do you say in him or in it?
Is that bow?
Thank you. Perfect. Bo, just that simple. So you can see how they'll take a preposition by its letter by itself and they put that dot in it. So then it gives you the hard B sound. Okay. And then the O right here, because that's how you say it. They're using the Y as a vowel. And that's why it's called O. So then you put a B and an O together and you got bow. There's a B, there's the O, bow. You and I would never thought for us to think bow. Some people would think bow like a bow tie, or bow like, put on a present, or bow like a dog. But it actually means in him or in it. Bow. Okay, one of our Torah portions is called bow. Number 4, in front of you. Okay, and this is masculine plural. So now they're not using a letter, they're using a word to bring it together. Okay, and they're letting us know that it's plural. So the in front of you is what? What word is in front of you? In front.
Is that lifney?
Yep, lifnei. Lifnei. And then so we know how to say that now. Now we're going to say that, which is a CEHM. That's how you say it. Or you can make it into a K, whichever way you want. I don't care. How do you say that?
Kim.
Kim. So say the first word is lifnei, and what's the next one?
Kim.
So we go lifnei, what?
Kim. Lifnei Kim.
Lifnei Kim. Yeah. Lifnei Kim. 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 So you don't have to be fast on it, but lifnei Kim, 3 syllables. 1, 2, 3. Lifnei Kim. Lifnei Kim. Lifnei Kim. Okay. We know the Kim is plural and it's masculine because it has a mem on the end of it. And here's the U. So it's talking about you plural. See? Niflakim. Okay. If I said niflaka, what is that? Nifneka. Nifneka. Lifneka. Lifneka.
Is that in front of me? In front of me?
Huh?
In front of me?
Oh no. Lifneka. Lifneka. In front of what?
you?
In front of you. Am I talking masculine or feminine? Lifneka. Lifneka. What am I saying? In front of you, masculine, singular. Here you go. Lifnek. 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 Lifnek.
Feminine.
Yes, in front of you, plural. I mean, masculine, feminine, singular. Okay. Okay, you understand? Leaf, lay, new. Leaf, nay, new. Leaf, nay, new. Leaf, come on, talk to me. Leaf, nay, new.
In front of him.
Leaf, nay, new. Leaf, nay, new. New, new, new. Leaf, nay, new.
In
Leaf,
front of
nay.
us.
Yes. Leaf, lay, can. Leaf, nay, can. Leaf, nay, can. Leaf, nay, can. You hear the sound? Ken, not Kim, Ken. Leaf, nay, can. Leaf, nay, can. What am I saying?
It's also in front of you, but
Yes.
that's feminine.
Yes, feminine plural. Got it. So now what we're doing is we're adding the endings to the words, the prepositions. We're adding the endings to these prepositions to give us what we're saying. So once you know the endings and you start hearing it, when you hear new, you say, oh, that's us. You hear, oh, that's him or it. Or you hear, it's hers. It's the third person. It's you. You got to ask the question. You said it was you. Did you say Ka or did you say Kim? Oh, you said Ka? Oh, then that means you individual. So when you read the Torah and Moshe says, he goes and he says, Neflakim, Shamartam, you guys, and he's all this plural. And all of a sudden he says, then you, Benka, you're individual, or Shamarti, you individual, or Shamarka, talking about you. You understand? You got to obey. So he'll move from talking about a group and he'll talk about an individual. And so once you understand in the English, they'll just say, all they'll do in English, you guys know this, if you've been on my studies, they'll say, you need to do this and you thinking, oh, they're talking about a group of people. Sometimes he is, but sometimes that you, in terms of loving me with all your heart and all your being, your lavavka. There you go. Lavavka. Lavav is your heart. Ka is what? Ka, you, individual. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Elohei, what? Somebody finish it.
Eloheinu.
Eloheinu. He's our Elohim. Then he says, Yahweh Echad. Then he says, U Ahavaka, you individual, U Ahavaka, and you are to love Yahweh with Levavika, not Levav Kim, Levavika, your heart, and Nafshika, your individual single soul. And Nemeodeka, that's you individual. So they got this whole thing sometimes where they think he's talking to you as a group, and he's not. He's talking to the individual. You are to fear Yoreaka. That means fear Yahweh, you yourself, by yourself. You understand? Period. So that's why you need to know what you means, because you for us can mean either one of these. Okay? Does that make sense? And so when you make your dance, you make your song, and you put it together, you'll have that. Okay? Now look at this. With her. We know when we said with them, it was imam. So what is this? With her, how do you say with her?
Yema.
Imma,
Yema.
imma, imma,
Yema.
Emma. Sound like my Aunt Emma, because her name was Emma. How you spell Aunt Emma? Oh, there you go, Emma. Aunt Emma. I have an aunt named Emma. But here it is. If I wish she was still alive, I'd be able to go tell her, Aunt Emma, your name means Emma. Emma means, or here you go, Emma. We know Emma as being this. So when you hear the word Emma, that means with her. That's what the name means, with her. Emma, 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 Emma. Okay. And we know her here is a third party, third person. And there it is, right there. You see that hey that has a dot in it? That is letting you know it's the third person. Okay. So with her is im. And then you say her, Emma. You just go Emma or Emma, Emma, not Emma, Emma. Im. Ma, Emma. Got it? Now you know how to say with her. Just remember Aunt Emma. Emma. Make an association. If you have a friend named Emma, call her Emma. And you know that means that. So what you want to do is go in your mind, because remember, I don't care how it's spelled in English. I don't care, because all I want to know is what the sound is. What does the sound mean? The sound means Emma, means with her. If I say Eloheinu, I don't care how it's spelled. I know what Eloheinu means. If I want to say with them, I would say imam. That mom at the end tells me it's masculine. and it tells me that they're masculine plural. If I say imka, I know that it's with you. Imka. Ka is you, singular, masculine. If I say immak, that means with you, feminine, singular. You see? Number 6. How do you say in me?
Is it B?
You're very close. Remember, this here is not E for B. No. And that's gonna, and what it is, Chandra, and you know I love you dearly, is not, they taught us that these two letters together and these two sounds together is B as in E, like a B, or to C. Is the proper pronunciation is I. If you hold it long enough, you'll hear the two E's. I. You're extending the E. You're not saying E, you're going I. So this is B, but bit. Okay, so you're gonna get bit, you're gonna get ki, you're gonna get li, you're gonna get all those I. And when you say I, and if I say I, don't hurt it. You're hurting it. You're hurting me. Okay, so when you say it, and you practice at home by yourself, and you're making it sound like me, you're being goofy. Then you say, when you say it, you look at it and go it, and you just look at this word it, and you say that's me. Don't call yourself me no more. It. Okay, you know you're gonna sound crazy. People will be like calling the police. Is she gone? She lost her mind. She don't do nothing, but just she's saying stuff I've never heard. Is she throwing up or what? You gotta have fun. It's it. Okay. Now, let me see if we could do one more for you guys, because that's a lot. All right. So where are we at? All right. Is necessary. Do you guys want to do one more page, or do you want to chill?
Keep going.
All right. So here, let's keep it simple. You guys are smart. So what do M and F and S mean? You know, I know we were taught UMF, male, masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. It's going to tell us what it means. It's very simple. These are grammatical tools that you're going to use for the rest of your life. Okay. The M is masculine. Masculine. The feminine is feminine. Simple. MF, masculine, feminine. Singular. It has the S. Singular. Plural. Many, more than one. That's it. That's not hard. Okay. Now we need to understand Hebraically how they're used. Okay. So let's see how they're used. It says, if you see written in a sentence to you, it's unclear who the you is. Is it one man or one woman or many men or many women? Just like I was just saying. In the text, when you read the Hebrew text, you got to know. So when you write to you, a masculine singular, now things become clear. We're talking about a you who is a masculine, a M, a singular is a S. That is one man, one person. Similarly, to you, feminine, plural. It could be to you. It could be plural. Would mean that you're not talking about, we're talking about a you who is feminine, and she's plural. She's more than one woman. She's many women. So with this in mind, let's now look at the terms we mentioned on the previous page and explain what they mean. What we're talking about right now in the final part of our lesson is to understand when you see this in parentheses here, is letting you know if they're talking about feminine or masculine singular. And if it's just a men by itself, then it's masculine. And it lets you know that the masculinity is the it. This is where you got to wrap your mind around it. Okay. So the singular is one man, the feminine singular is one woman. Okay. If we're talking about something that is not a person, like a horse, and in English, we call it it. It's not clear from the word it if it's masculine or feminine. See, you could call it an it, but is it masculine or is it feminine? We don't know. So we write it as a masculine. They're letting in the Hebrew, they let you know. That's how concrete this language is. They're going to let you know if it's a masculine. And by the letter that's on it, it's going to let you know if it's a feminine. They're going to let you know what it is. So we know what we're talking about. A masculine it. We know we're talking about a masculine it when it's written like that. The it and the feminine, it lets you know the feminine is the it because it has this parentheses F right here. And then it says you. If it's a masculine plural and it's letting you know what it is, it'll let you know if it's plural. And that will be identified by the letters that are on the end of the word, which is kim, ka, whatever it may be, or or ain. Okay. Feminine, plurality, the F with the PL, perfect. You know that it's talking about what? More than one woman. Them, masculine, it's masculine, has the M. We're talking about more than one man. It seems very simple, doesn't it? That didn't take us long, did it? And then feminine, them, it's talking about feminine. We're talking about more than one woman. Easy. Easy, 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 lemon squeezy. I'm going to save this page for later. But you know what? I tell you what, I've gone over the lesson with you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to you. I'll give you some homework because you already went over it. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, we're not done. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to you. I'm only going to send you up to this page. Okay. So you can marinate on it. No, I didn't go over this. I'm not going to send that because I didn't go over it with you. I'm going to send everything I've talked to you about. And that should be enough for you to practice. You should have your vocabulary words down. When I ask you how do you say from, you should be able to say men. You should know this. And you should sing it and you should know it. And you should recognize it. And that's how you spend your time. So lessons for us and Lamad and learning doesn't always mean doing a whole bunch. It's not the quantity of the thing that matters, it's the quality of it. You understand? It's not how much time you spend with something, it's how much care do you give to it. I believe what the Creator is telling us is this, even in our study today, that it's how we spend time with Him. It's not how much time we spend with Him, it's how we spend our time with Him. If we're really intimate and we really want to know, then it's that time that matters. Okay. And so what we learned today is vocabulary words. We went over our prepositions. We know the two categories it comes in. It gives us a relation to time and space and where it's at. We learned on how the letters, they come in words and they come in letters. So you guys should know that. And then finally, you know that there's some endings that you have to know, and you have to know about its masculine and its femininity. And those are basic things. Now, let me ask you a question. Was this lesson hard?
It's just new, but it's not hard.
It's not hard, it's new. Thank you. That was honest. It's new and it's not difficult, but if you spend a little bit of time with it, then you'll be able to get it. Okay. So remember, go ahead and continue to read in your book. If you don't know how to read it properly, you should go to your blue book that I sent to you. Everyone has it, and learn how to read. And once you read it, you could go ahead and do it. Now, if you want to cheat, then you go to Bible Hub and it'll tell you how to make the sound. And you just got it. And no matter if you cheat, because I love cheating on this, because even if you cheat, you still got to memorize it. So it doesn't matter if you cheat because you still got to learn it. I can learn how to say it, and I can cheat. But does it mean anything if I don't know what it means? I want you to cheat. I'm cheating. I'm giving you the test. Here it is. Okay. So no matter what it is, just spend the time with it. You guys, I'm telling you, we have over 40 something lessons. And by the time you're done with the lesson or the lessons, you guys are going to be sharp. You're going to be like Hebrew scholars. People won't even be able to mess with you. They won't even have an argument with you. They'll get offline with you. They won't even talk to you, won't say nothing to you. Because you'll ask them a question. Well, what does that mean? Do you know what that is? And they were like, no. Okay, then you can't say nothing to me. That's not, that's how I fight. Okay, Contra, you like to fight? Here it is. You be putting that sword to people's neck. Now I want you to, really put the tip of the sword to underneath their chin. Do you understand what this means? And they'll be like, no, then you can't talk to me. There's nothing, if you don't know what you're talking about, then please be quiet. And that's humiliating. It's insulting to people, but that's what it said. That's how you're supposed to do it. In any kind of given situation of authority and power, one must be able to exercise that power and that authority. And Yah has given us this language as our power. You cannot understand the Torah without reading the Hebrew language, period. You can guess, you can have all kind of ideas, and you can put some pieces together, but you really, really won't know what it says and what does it really mean. And then you won't be confident in it, okay? And then you'll be questioning yourself, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to send those pages to you. I say to you, I enjoyed our lesson today. Hopefully you got something out of it, because I did. Every time I teach you, I'm learning more. I'm very confident in it. So when you guys say, well, he already knows this, so it's not a big deal to him. No, it isn't. It's everything. I'm getting a refresher on everything, and it makes more sense to me. So I'm able to learn from you. So I thank you guys for coming to class, because you helped me learn as well. I'm learning. No one, you can't learn too much. You can't. There's no, oh, by the way, there will never be an end of your learning. Never. Never. Not here. When you get home and the Yahweh says, I'll download the Torah and no one has to ask anybody about me, then you won't have to be taught. But as long as you're here, as long as you're living on the face of this earth right now, you're got to be in study, and that's going to be your life. And your life is always going to be study. Kel, you're a business owner. You're telling me that you're not learning new things? You are. If you want your business to continue to grow, you have to learn and investigate and search things out. You understand? It's always about learning. It's never going to stop. And it's just part of it's part of who we are. That's why Yah has chosen language to be our medium to learn. That's why he's chosen letters and words and meanings. So then when we communicate, it makes you feel a certain way. It's a different vibration. Even when you speak Hebrew, it's different. It's when you pray in Hebrew, it's completely different, you guys. It's completely different. When you say to Yahweh, you say Yahweh, Roe, lo exalted ben no teshe. Yarba seni olme. All those vibrations are different than the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Which one would you, if you're the creator, you created a language and you wanted to hear a vibration in a tone, would you like the person to say that or sing it in the tone that you told them? Or would you like them to go off another rendition? It's like kind of hearing somebody sing a Aretha Franklin song who is trying to bite off her album or do a cover when that's not Aretha Franklin or Michael Jackson or Prince. They'll take one of their songs and do a cover on it. And you would think, oh, well, it's okay, but that don't sound like, that didn't sound like Marvin Gaye. You guys ever hear somebody try to sing a Marvin Gaye song? You're like, oh, that's Marvin Gaye's song, but that ain't Marvin Gaye. It don't make you feel the same way. So that's what I'm saying. If you know this language, when we say Yahweh, Roe, lo exar ben nof deshe, you're right. You're saying Yahweh, you are my shepherd. You're shepherding me, and you're not diminishing me. Not I shall not want. That's what I'm not diminished. I'm not being reduced to anything. Everything I need is in you. You're shepherding me. So it's not that you were my shepherd. It's not that you just are my shepherd, but roe means that you are shepherding me. That's different, you guys. So when you get those meanings and an understanding, then you rehearse these words, then you'll be like, man, I know what it means. And you'll be like, whoa. So that's what I'm trying to get you to go to. And that's where you're going. So congratulations on your third lesson of the Hebrew language. Any questions before we go?
I had one. As far as reading the Bible, do you think that the CJB version is closer
Yeah,
to the?
yeah,
Yes.
yes, it is.
Okay.
I agree. I would say in all my reading, I find errors in the CJB. So
Mhm.
I'll read the text in the Hebrew, right? And then I'll go back and I'll verify it in the CJB. So whenever I
Okay.
teach my class, I never just read the CJB and be like, okay, that's what it means. Because sometimes they don't tell you if it's plural or singular. When I talked about you, there's one big error that I found there that talks about, he says, oh, I wish. So anytime you hear them say, oh, I wish, that's not what Yah said. I think I showed that to Kelvin a long time ago, where it's actually talking about who would fear me. So you got to be careful, but I would say they're 98% accurate, 98. I've only
Okay.
found a few big errors in there on how the sentence is phrased and how it's put together and what some words that are being used or translated. Some of their translations, some of their words I just don't get. I don't like it because it's not really giving you the essence of it. When you read the Hebrew and you know what the vowel stem was and that, and how was it voweled and how was it conjugated. So they don't give you conjugations. So that's where the problem is. So if you don't understand the grammar, then you can read something and it'll send you somewhere else. Oh, I wish that they would always have a heart to fear me. That's not what he said. The creator never said, I wish anything. He doesn't wish anything. We found the error that talked about, oh, Moshe and Abraham believed and it was accounted to him for righteousness. No, it doesn't say that he believed. It said that Yahweh caused him to have faith. That's different. So one is a hithpael and one is a hifal or hifel. And those are two different verb stems. So to answer your question, they are the closest. I told Kel this too. They are the closest that I have found. Other things that I've read, they're not close. They're not. The only reason why it's close is because David Stern, that's the author, he is Jewish. So he tries to match it up as close as he can. Okay. But he's still on that whole thing with Yeshua and all that good stuff too. He's with that because he wants that to work. But he is Jewish. And what he did was he took the language and said, well, he's real close.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with them, but I would verify. You see a phrase that just don't sit right with you, call me and I'll tell, and we'll go over it together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I sent you Panay, because I was like, am I getting this correct?
Yeah, you are getting into Panay is in the faces, right? Like, and that's what the word leaf name. That Panah means faces. So when Yah says, I don't want you guys to bring anything in front of my faces, right? So what is he saying? Well, does Yah have more than one face? Or do you have one face? Yes, you do have more than one face. These are your faces. I'm mad. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm joyful. I'm mournful. I'm scared. I'm sorrowful. I'm terrified. Right? You got all these different faces.
Right.
And every time you turn your face, no matter where you're looking, you're still looking at something. So when Yah says, don't bring anybody in front of my face, he's saying there won't be anybody found. I don't care where I turn to look. There should never be another Elohim in front of my faces. Yeah, see, you see the power in that?
Yes.
Wherever I look, there's no one. I looked and I can't find anybody. He's telling you in the heavens, on the earth, below it, anywhere. He searched and he said, I don't see anybody. He already told us this. But because we don't know what that means, we would just think in front of his face, like, but we could put somebody in front of him because he's sitting on his right hand. No. Yah says, don't ever bring anybody in front of my faces. So now you can see the danger for when someone does say later on, he said, don't ever bring, and lo means never. It means it absolutely never. When he says, thou shalt not kill, that's not until something happens. Or you should work 6 days in the 7th day. And then, no, that lo, don't thiga or stealing. Lo means never. The covenant means never should you do these things. Not until a certain, you tell somebody, well, don't do this until this changes. So when
Right.
God wrote this down, he was talking about eternally. You will never steal and get away with it. You will never lie and bear a false witness. Never. You shall never have anybody before me. That's eternity past, eternity present, and eternity future. There never will exist to you anybody else. And because our people don't understand the language, they're on a whole nother thing. And that's why they're going to be put to death. Because one word called lo means never, ever. Absolutely. It's infinitive. It means it can never change. When he says, I'm going to renew the covenant, he said, I'm not going to destroy the covenant. I'm going to renew it. I'm going to reestablish it. I'm going to bring back life to it because now we're back together again. I'm not going to get rid of the covenant. I'm not writing a new covenant. When I told you that I'm the one who brought you out of Mitzrayim, I said that forever.
That's a teaching right there with just that one word.
Yes. And here it is. He says, my name is Yahweh forever.
Forever.
You understand?
Wow.
That means forever. That means whether you live, die, I don't care when you were born, you can leave and come back again, and it would still be the same thing.
Wow.
Not until Peter decides that he wants to be a royal priesthood, then things change. Are you out of your mind? Lo means absolutely never going to change. Period. That's why you guys are on class. So you get sharper and gravitate towards the Torah. So nobody can come to you with nothing. Nobody can fade me. Okay. I'm not bragging. I'm boasting. Y'all says if a man's going to boast, let him boast in this, that he know me. I will boast. I know Yahweh. You understand me? I know him. Do you understand? Because he's revealing himself to me because I want to know him. Okay. And you want to know him. That's why you're trying to find out how to do this. We're not doing it so we can go and be a teacher at a Hebrew Institute. You're learning this because you want to know what the Torah says. So you'll know. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I've kept you guys long enough. I could go all night. I really can. But I thank you, and I'm going to send your lessons to you guys tomorrow, okay? So rest up. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And continue in your studies. Take a little bit every day. It don't have to be an hour and a half to 2 hours. Maybe 10. When you get your 10 minutes a day, say, you know what, I'm going to put 10 or 15 minutes and I'm going to study hard. I'm going to look at this for 10 minutes straight. Hard. I ain't going to give my attention to nothing else. I'm going to look really at it. And if it means that I got to stay on one word till I figure it out, I'm going to stay there. Don't do like I did. When I first came into this, I was like so excited. I was like, okay, well, I know how to read now. So what I want to do next? Okay, well, I'm gonna learn what the words. I don't know how to say that. Okay, I can read that. I can sing that. Okay, good. I'm good. And then I felt like a dummy because Yah said, okay, well, do you know about the verbs? Yeah, I know what action. I know what it is. He said, no, do you know how I said it? I was like, well, no. You just said it because you said it. He says, no, you're being foolish. You're being foolish. Because if you knew the verb tense that I said it in, then you would be able to teach people the proper way, because there's 7 ways on how something can be said. And one of the things that I told you when I came to Mount Sinai, I spoke to you in a very forceful way called a PL verb stem. I spoke to you forcefully. And then after I told you to teach your children, I didn't tell you to teach them in a very simple way. I told you to teach them in a very forceful way. The same way that I spoke to you with the commandments is the same way that you're supposed to teach your children. You're not supposed to deviate from the Pa'il. You're not supposed to turn to a very simple way. You're supposed to be forceful with my words. But if you don't read the Torah, you don't understand the language, you would think that I said it in a very mild manner. And that is optional for you to learn. Like I screamed at you on purpose because I want you to scream at your kids and the people around you, because that's how serious I am. because you're not talking about anything else but your life. So if you're talking about your life, I'm going to scream at you because I love you, and I'm going to terrify you, and I'm going to put you in terror because I need you to be scared enough to know, don't you cross me. Yah said that. Did you guys know that he said, I've come this way to scare you so you won't sin against me, so I don't have to put you down. People don't want to read that part. Why did he come in fire? Why did he come in thunder? Why did he come in the shofar and the blast? And it was dark. It wasn't light outside. It was darkness, and it was thick, and they couldn't see, and all they saw was fire. And all they saw was lightning, and all they heard was this sound of the shofar. It was terrifying. So in context, he was never talking to them like, I am Yahweh, your Elohim. You think they ran back and wanted to go to their tents because he was speaking to them in a very cordial, nice, loving way? He was yelling at them. He was screaming at us. I am Yahweh. Them people were like, ah! Oh, go talk to him, please. They were begging. You understand me? They were begging him. And he said, he's come this way so you can fear him. Yeah, we understand. Please, we don't want to hear it no more. We're going to die. They weren't like, we're going to die, Moshe. Can you go talk to him for us? See, that's what they want you and I to understand. So when this guy comes in this white outfit with his disciples running around and feeding people with some fish and some bread, you and I will be like, oh, he's not yelling at us anymore. There's nothing to fear. He's not going to kill us. He loves us. Matter of fact, listen to the voice. Did you hear the voice? It spoke out of heaven. It says, here, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. You know damn well the Creator never spoke to nobody like that. Don't you guys get it? If you don't fear Yahweh, you're dead. That's what it is. That's why he came, and that's why he's coming back in fire. You heard my lesson today. I told you how he's coming back. He's coming back in fire, folks, in complete darkness. Isaiah says in the chapter 63 and 64, he says, oh, we wish that you would come down, because only when you come down that the world would tremble and they would know that there's only one Elohim. Because so Yah has to come back. That's why he uses the term and says, has anyone else heard my voice and lived? Why is he saying that? Because he's letting us know that when I do come, the only ones who will live is Israel. Because you guys, you are the only people who ever heard my voice and lived. Everybody else has died. Why do you think he gives attention to my voice? If you listen to my voice, you'll live. Isn't that what he says? So don't let it come upon you that you ain't been listening, because he won't kill you here. He's going to take you out to the wilderness, and then that's where he's going to kill you in front of everybody. Then you'll know that I'm Yahweh. Ezekiel chapter number 20. You see? So that's the reason why he says, I come to you this way. And when he talks about coming back, he's not coming back. He's coming back in fire. Okay. And that's the only way that everyone is going to know who he is. He's going to reveal himself to the world. He says the only reason why I didn't kill you was because the nation saw me with my might and my strength to bring you out. And I didn't want to profane my name. But guess what? Chapter number 37 of Ezekiel and 36 tells us that Yah says, where you're living and sinning, you've been profaning my name in front of the nations. So now, because we've been profaning his name, there's no reason to save anybody now. His name has already been profaned in front of the nations. Now what he has to do is bring judgment to bring glory back to his name. And the only way the glory will ever be brought back to his name is when fire comes down and destroys everybody that has ever profaned him. That's how Yah appears. That's how he killed Aaron's sons, with fire. How did he kill the men who wanted to be the priests, Korach and them? With fire. How did he show with Elijah, the prophet? With fire. Moshe tells us that Yah is a consuming fire. Why? Why did he tell us he's consuming fire? Because he's telling us that if you choose another God over me, I'm going to show you who I am. Book of Malachi tells us on that day, that great and terrible day, I will set the evil and the proudful and set them ablaze. And you will come out like calves that have been locked in a stall, and you will trample upon the ashes of those who went against Yahweh. But I need you to remember the Torah of Moshe. Why? Because I'm letting you know how I came. I told you that I joined myself to you by fire when I came down on Mount Sinai. And I spoke to you out of the fire. So how do you think I'm coming back? Where I will put the fear of me in you. The only way it can happen is with fire. So prepare for that. There's a young lady on TikTok. She put out a video and she was scared as hell. Okay. She was terrified. I wish I had a way to show you the video. Let me see if I do. Let me see if I do. If you guys don't mind, I like to show it to you. It's like 3 minutes. I want to show you this video that she had or that she put up. It was crazy. And listen, and it scared me because it scared me in a way that lets me know that, okay, well, this is real. This is real. Because the dream that she had, I had a dream that was similar to her like a couple of years ago. A dream that I had, there was a moon outside and it was so close, you can even go out and touch it. It was like a pinkish blue. That's how close it was. Okay. It was pinkish blue. And this girl got on the thing and she said, let me see. Okay, do I have access? Let me see if I got access. Oh, almost. No, is it there? Oh, I'm trying to find it. Thought I- No, man, I don't. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me see if I can get this right here. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, okay? Everybody still there?
Yes.
All right, here you go. Get ready for this. I wish I would have showed it earlier today, but I forgot. Let's go ahead.
I just finished crying because I had a dream, and I'm letting you guys know right now that God is coming soon. I'm gonna try to tell this story without crying. I went to take a nap with my baby, and I felt like I was dead. It felt like I wasn't even here. I saw 2 moons. I saw 2 moons first. And I remember arguing with my family in a dream, and I told them, I said, guys, I saw two moons outside. And I told them, I said, the Most High is coming. And then after that, I saw the sun. The sun had turned into fire, guys. And there was fire coming down. was fire coming down from the sky, coming from the sun. And then the world had turned into darkness. It was just pure darkness. It was pure darkness. And I woke up and I heard the Most High say, and I also heard a war going on outside too. In the dream, I heard the Most High say, warn everybody. Warn everybody. Guys, he is coming. He's coming soon. I want to let y'all know that. We don't know when, but he's angry. He's mad. He's mad. He's angry and he's not happy for what's going on. Not a lot of y'all gonna believe me. Not a lot of y'all gonna believe me, but the ones that do, thank you. Know that Most High is coming. He's coming. I saw it. He's coming. I heard it. Guys, it felt like it was actually happening to me in my dream. I wasn't here. I wasn't on this earth. I ascended somewhere else. I woke up and I said, I'm home. I'm still here.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Wow.
Did you hear what she said?
Yes.
Okay. So what am I saying? The dream that I had, and I'm being clear with you, it was about a couple years ago. And in this dream, okay, I went outside. I heard a whole bunch of commotion. I went outside and the moon was where you literally felt like you could touch it. That's how close it was. That's how close the moon was. And people started going crazy, okay, and screaming and going nuts, okay. One of the other brothers said he had a dream very similar to what she had. His name is Kent, and he's on my class. You know Kent Kill. So he had a dream that his family was going crazy and arguing and fighting. He went outside and said, the Most High is coming, the Most High is coming. This girl, from what I'm hearing, she didn't even describe, she didn't use any scripture. Everything she describes is according to the book of Malachi, the book of Isaiah, and all the different prophets. And even she described the scene of the whole world becoming dark and then Yah's fire coming out. That is what the Bible describes as Yah's coming. She didn't even use any scripture, but because I know the Torah and I know the Tanakh, I know the prophets, it lines up perfectly with what the Holy One of Israel has said. Because it's going to be a terrible day. It's going to be a terrible day. Do you guys remember when Abraham had that vision? Remember, Yah put him to sleep and he says a darkness fell upon him and he was terrified. Why was he terrified? Because he saw a torch. It was complete darkness. It's not koshek, it's avrovel, meaning a darkness that can be felt. And when Abraham was in that vision in chapter number 15, he was completely terrified because of what he saw. You understand what I'm saying? He was in a vision, but yet he went to sleep, but he was terrified in that. And it was complete darkness, and there was a fire, a torch, a flame that went between those pieces that he put out. I told you earlier in my teachings that Yah has showed me what those animals' years mean. You know, a 3-year-old cow, a 3-year-old goat, a 3-year-old ram. In the English, it says 3 years old, but in the Torah, it doesn't say 3 years old. It says Shana, meaning a certain time. There's a word for time. So when he talks about 3, he's talking about 3 times, 3 cycles. And what he's shown me is that Israel has to go through 3 cycles before he ends up bringing upon that promise. There has to be 3 times Okay. There's 3 times. The first time is when Yah went and he got Abraham. Okay. Or Israel's going to go through 3 cycles. Forgive me. Israel's going to go through 3 cycles. The first time Israel went through that cycle was when they went into captivity in Egypt. That's the first time. That's the first time. Okay. That's the first time he went through that cycle. The second time is when they got put out and he had to go back and bring them back again, bring Judah back. The third time is this time. This is the last and final cycle. It was going to take, the reason why he used those animals and they were 3 years old, because after 3 years of being trained, it takes 3 years of training for them to go on this cycle, for them to learn how to walk on the tread, on the road that they're being trained. So a lot of us sometimes think that when a cattle is doing something, they just automatically born and then they just go out and do their thing. No, they got to be trained. They got to be tamed. Israel has to be tamed. They have to go through 3 cycles, 3 times before they're tamed to know how to walk on the path that Yahweh has set. This last time, this is our last cycle that we're going through training. Yah has to put us through training in order for us to be ready to do the service. He calls us his servant. And oftentimes he calls us his ox. Okay. So when we're religious, we don't see the agricultural perspective, like Yah has to train us, he has to tame us to get us to do the work and the service that he wants us to do in the earth, like you would with an ox or a sheep or a goat or whatever, or a ram. You got to train them to do the work that you need them to do, especially a domesticated animal like a cow. That's what you got to do, or an ox. They have to be trained. So Yah is saying that I'm going to bring you through a cycle. And right now is the last cycle. Because after this, it won't be like, hey, well, let's get some more training. You guys go to the land and you're going to be put out again. It's not going to be that. We've been brought into the land, then we've been put out of the land. We've been brought to the land, and we've been put out of the land. This is the last time he's bringing us to the land, because then we'll be on our 3rd years of our 3rd cycle, not year, 3rd cycle of being trained and tamed. So the people of Israel have to go through this in order to bring them to a point where they can be used for the service of the master. That's why Yah chose those animals, and that's why he chose the years that he chose of those animals, is to give us a clue about what it's going to take. We're at the end of that cycle. So those of Israel who hasn't got it right this time and decide that they don't want to do what he says, don't worry about it. I'm going to get you. I'm ridding you of the rebels. I'm getting rid of them. They're not going into the land. That's what he says. Ezekiel chapter number 20, verse number 36, all the way down. You're not going back into the land. So the taming is one of giving us to say, I want with everything. Call means all, and it means to tame with the staff. So Yah's been taming us. And at the end of this taming cycle, he's going to see which one of us are willing to do the work. And if we didn't fit it and we're not wholehearted with him, meaning that we're not willing to do the work, then no worries, you're going to be cut off. That's what Yahweh is saying. Okay. And that's why it's important for us to continue to do everything we're doing, because we're changing our hearts towards him. We're changing our mindsets towards him. We're getting prepared. Don't think that you're learning what you're learning just for you. It's for you to get it, right? And not to go out and be a disciple, but somebody's going to come to you and ask you. They're going to come and ask you, what is it? And if you do go out and you teach it like I do, because I'm not trying to get people to follow me. I'm not trying to get thousands of people to follow me. I don't want anybody to follow me. I want them to follow the Creator. So I give them lessons and teach how to do that. And what this is this is helping tame us. So if you're one of the people that Yah decided that, I want you to know this, because I want you to use it so you can get tamed, and then you can show other people what needs to happen, so they can start taking him a little bit more serious at his words. because they're not. They think this is a religion and it's not. But that video is, I'm telling you, I feel it. I've watched it at least about 7 times. And I don't know if you heard it, but when she said what she said, she wasn't just giving us a dream, guys. Did you? She said, I heard it. She was, you know what I mean? She was very passionate about it. She's very certain about it. And she said that he said that he's mad. He's mad as hell. He is mad. So us thinking he's going to come back and just gather Israel is going to be a happy day. No, it's going to be a great and terrible day. It is going to be a day that no one's ever seen. And that's the day that's mentioned in Jeremiah chapter number 30, talk about Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble is not a time frame. It's not, well, once you guys go into captivity, you're going to be in trouble from that time. And then when the Savior comes, he's going to save you. No, it speaks of a day. It's a day. And that day is a day of Jacob's trouble. It's the day that Yah says, I'm going to bring upon the trouble upon Jacob. And everybody that has anything to do with Jacob are about to experience hell, because Jacob is in Yaakov is Yahweh's first fruits, and anybody that touches it will going to have to bear the consequences. That's what he says. So this is real. That's why my teaching is I'm turning it up. I'm turning up the teaching. I'm turning up the seriousness and the consistency, and I'm actually turning up the frequency. Because I believe what that girl said. She said the Most High says you need to warn people, and you need to tell them that I'm coming, and warn them, and he's mad. And he's gonna he is coming exactly the way that she said. She didn't even quote any scripture, and everything she said matches what the Torah says, and matches what the prophets have said. It's an identical match. Anybody want to say anything? I'm here.
So when he comes back, is there going to be like a prophet that he's going to use like Moshe
Yeah.
to talk to us?
Yeah, he said before Yahweh does anything, according to what he says, I don't do anything. I do nothing without first revealing it to my prophets. Yah doesn't do anything without giving anybody a warning. He's fair. Okay. He's fair. He's not, and he's just, because they always accuse him of not being fair. And they always accuse him of not being just. He is just and he is fair. Let me show you right quick, Kel, since you asked that question. Let's see here. I believe in Amos, and it's in chapter number 3. Oh, she described something that's terrible. Yeah. Amos 3 says this. It says that let's just read what he says. Okay, starting verse 1. I don't want to, some people go and they'll just take one verse and they'll just like, okay, well, that's what it says. No, let's get context. Listen to this word which Yahweh has spoken against you, people of Israel. This is the prophet Amos. He says, against the entire family that I brought up from the land of Egypt. Of all the families of the on earth, only you have I intimately known. This is the CJB. This is why I punish you. I will punish you for all your crimes. Because you're the only one I know. Because you're the only one I've ever intimately known, meaning you heard my voice, you saw me, you saw the fire, you're my witnesses. Do two people travel together without having so agreed? That's the question. That's the question he's asking. Think about it. Does a lion roar in the forest when it has no prey? So the answer to question number 1 is no. Two people don't travel together unless they're agreed. So first answer to that question is no. The second question is, does a lion roar in the forest when it has no prey? No. He doesn't. Does a young lion growl in his lair if it's caught nothing? No. Does a bird get caught in a trap on the ground if it hasn't been baited? No. Does a trap spring up from the ground when it has caught nothing? No. When the shofar is blown in the city, don't the people tremble? Yes. Can disaster befall the city without Yahweh having done it? No. Yahweh Elohim does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. Do you understand? This is what Yah is letting us know. Before he does anything, just like before he brought destruction to Jerusalem, did he tell him what he was going to do? Yes. Before he destroyed Israel as a nation in the top 10 tribes, or the northern tribes, did he tell them what he was going to do? Yes. Did he warn them? Yes, he did. Does he not give warning? He does. He warns us all the time. Okay. So when we talk about him sending out a prophet, and he's going to, because that was your question. Yah says, before that great and terrible day, I'm going to send Eliyahu the prophet. But I need you to remember the Torah of Moshe. Why does he want us to remember the Torah of Moshe? Because in the Torah of Moshe, it tells you about how Yah comes. It's telling you how Yahweh has come. The prophets warn us and tell us how Yahweh is going to come. Okay, listen to this since we're on it. Praise the Holy One of Israel. Isaiah chapter number 63 says this, and he's one of the prophets, is he not? Yes, he is. Listen what it says, and we have a copy of this. Listen what he says. Yah begins to tell them in verse number 15, or Isaiah says this, look down from heaven and see from your holy, glorious dwelling, where are your zeal and your mighty deeds? That's what he's asking him. Your inner concern and compassion. Where's those deeds and compassion that you showed to Israel like you did when you brought him out of Egypt? He's asking him, don't hold back, for you are our father. If Abraham were not to know us and Israel were not to acknowledge us, you, Yahweh, are our father. Our Redeemer of old is your name. So what is he requesting? That Yahweh will show compassion and that he would come and deliver us. Yahweh, why do you let us wander away from your ways and harden our hearts so that we don't fear you? Because the way that we feared him was the way that he came. Listen carefully, because Moshe told us he came this way so you would always fear him. So Isaiah is asking Yahweh, why have you let us wander away from your ways and harden our hearts so that we don't fear you? Because Yah says it all the time. You guys don't fear me. And the only way you can not fear him is going away from what the ways he taught us. He says, return. Return what? Return, meaning come back. And for the sake of your servants and the tribes who are your possession. Your holy people held your sanctuary for a short time, before our adversaries trampled it down. For so long we have been like those who have never ruled, like those who were not called by your name. Listen, it doesn't end. I want to see. That's why I shouldn't have done that so fast. And in the end of 63, they have right here the last little thing right here. You see, after there's an exclamation mark, and then they got that little parentheses there. That parentheses right there is an indicator that, guess what? Even in the Hebrew scrolls, there's a continuation. There is no chapter 63 and 64. The scroll just continues to read down. So the same conversation that we just had is the one that we're continuing right now. He's still, you see it? Verse number 1. We wish you would tear open heaven and come down. Where? So the mountains would shake at your presence. So what does that tell you? When he says, we wish that you would tear open heaven and come down, how did he tear down heaven? And now he's asking him to return. Isn't that what he just said in 63? Return, come and return. Come to, because we're your people. So we need you to return. And how would he want us to return? We wish, the people of Israel, wish that you would tear open heaven and come down. Open the skies, not the heaven there. They're telling us, oh, that's where you're going to go live. He's talking about open up the Shamayim and come down so that the mountains would shake at your presence. Well, when did he tear open heaven the first time? And what is he making reference to about returning? And why is he making reference to a mountain? Because Isaiah knows that this is the way that Yahweh has come. Yahweh comes down in fire. And when he comes down, every mountain and every hill will fall. And it's going to shake. The earth is going to shake. It will be like what? Fire. Kindling the brush. When what? When Yahweh comes down. And the fire makes the water boil. When? When Yahweh comes down, when he tears open the sky. Then, it's only then that your enemies will know your name. And nations will tremble before you. When? When they see this fire, when he tears the sky open and he comes down. Then that's when they will fear him. That's when your enemies will know your name. And that's when the nations will tremble before you. They're not going to tremble because somebody sent out a message and said, hey, you know, I've sent my beloved son. Ain't nobody afraid of Yah. He says, well, why we've wandered away from your ways, and why you allowed us to do this? Why don't you fear you? He's letting us know that Yah is going to reinstitute the fear on everybody by coming again. When you did tremendous things that we were not expecting, we wish that you would come down so that the mountains would shake at your presence. Continue what he's saying. No one has ever heard, you've heard this, and they got this in Corinthians, chapter number 3. No one ear has ever heard, no eyes perceived the wonderful things that God has prepared for those who love him. That is a mistranslation and them taking out what this is in context. When Isaiah Yeshayahu is talking right here, he's telling us that no one has ever heard. The nations have never heard anything like this. They never understood. No eye has anyone ever seen any Elohim but you. We're his witnesses. When he came down, Moshe declared in chapter number 4, you guys didn't see any kind of shape. You didn't hear anything. All you heard was the voice of Yah. You didn't see any shape of a man. He came in this way to scare you, to let you know that who he is, that there's no one else but him. No one has ever heard, no ears ever perceived, no eyes ever seen any Elohim but you. And the reason why he can say that is because he's Israel, and he knows that no one has ever heard or seen anything like this. And therefore, because it's associated with fire, because Yah's a consuming fire, you and I should know that he is the only Elohim. You work for him who waits for you. You favor those who were glad to do justice, those who remembered you in your ways. When you were angry, we kept sinning. If we kept your ancient ways, we will be saved. But if we keep your ancient ways, we'll be saved. He said earlier in 63, why have you allowed us to go away from your ways? You understand? All of us are like someone unclean. Our righteous deeds are like a minstrel rag. We wither, all of us, like leaves. Misdeeds blow us away like the wind. No one calls on your name or bestirs himself to take hold on you. For you have hidden your face from us and caused our misdeeds to destroy us. But now, Yahweh, you are our Father. We're the clay, you're the potter, and we are the work of your hands. So don't be so very angry, and don't remember our crime forever. Please look, we're still your people. All of us, we're all your people. Then he goes on to talk about that. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. He's asked Yah to come down. And he's sending this message. So we got the prophets. We got the prophets. He's telling us everything. Will there come a man who says, there might come a man and say, hey, guess what? Yah was coming. And that's all he said. All he has to say is the day of Yah was coming. Let's be clear. When Yah tells us to remember the Torah of Moshe, and he tells us to remember Mount Sinai, that's what he told us to remember, okay? Do you guys remember before Yahweh did come to Israel? Do you remember when Moshe told them Yah's going to come to you? What did Moshe tell him? You guys remember? Let me show you. Chapter number 20, or actually 19, forgive me. Yah told Moshe, it was in the 3rd month after the people left the land of Egypt, the same day they came to the Sinai desert. After setting out for Rephidim and arriving at the Sinai desert, they set up camp in the desert in front of the mountain. Israel set up camp. Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahweh called to him from the mountain. Remember? Then he said, here's what you are to say to the household of Yaakov. Tell the people of Israel, meaning the sons and daughters of Israel, you have seen what I've done to the Egyptians, how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you pay careful attention to what I say, or careful attention to what I say, and keep my covenant, meaning guard it, then you will be my own special treasure among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you will be a kingdom of Kohanim, a priest, a nation set apart. These are the words you are to speak to the people of Israel. Moshe came and he summoned all the people of Israel and presented them with all the words that Yahweh ordered him to say. All the people answered with one, everything Yahweh has said, we will do. Moshe reported the words of the people to Yahweh. Yahweh said to Moshe, see, I'm coming to you in a thick cloud, so that the people may be able to hear when I speak with you, and also to trust in you for how long? Forever. That's why he wants us to remember what Moshe said, because it's only this guy is the one that you and I are supposed to be listening to for instruction. So Moshe had told Yahweh what the people had said. So Yahweh said to Moshe, go to the people today and tomorrow, separate them for me by having them wash their clothing and prepare for the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day, Yahweh will come down, okay, on Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. You are to set limits for the people all around and say, be careful not to go up on the mountain or even touch his base. Whoever touches the mountain will surely be put to death. But guess what they don't tell you? They don't finish telling you that the reason why he didn't want them to touch it is till after he arrived and gave them permission to go up on the mountain. He says, no hand is to touch him. Listen, no hand is to touch him, for he must be stoned or shot by arrows. Neither no animal or human will be allowed to live. When the shofar sounds, hear it. I need you to hear it. When the shofar sounds, you repeat it, Kel, they may what? They may go up on the mountain. Israel's supposed to go up on the mountain. But when the shofar sounded, Israel's like, I'm out of here. They got terrified. He only got off 10 words. And then after it stopped, because he knew what the people were saying, they were scared. So that's how it's going to happen. So when Yah comes, get the scene. Okay. There's going to be darkness. There's going to be a sound. It's going to be so loud. Listen. So 14, Moshe went down from the mountain to the people. He separated the people and they washed their clothing. He said to the people, prepare for the 3rd day. Don't approach a woman. Could this be what Yah is going to send someone to tell us to do? Could this be like when Yahweh prepared to take Israel out of Mitzrayim? He says on the 10th day, you need to take a lamb and bring it and cut it. We don't have a lamb. But they were prepared and did what Moshe instructed them. And because they followed what he said, they lived. So what is he saying about remembering the Torah of Moshe? He's saying that I will use something that I told you in the Torah to do before I come. I might tell you to wash your clothes. I might tell you to go sit in your closet. I might tell you to go and grab it and tell you and send somebody to tell you to gather your whole family, like I told Rakav, that prostitute, to gather whoever was in her family to her house. I might tell you to do whatever I told you. Oh, yeah. Yes, we're going to read that. Joel chapter 2. I will cause you to do whatever I tell you to do. And because you listen to Moshe, when I bring something to you, you will be able to understand it. Blow the shofar in Zion and sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the living in the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh is coming. It is upon us. It's a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds, of thick fog. A great and mighty horde is spreading like blackness over the mountains. There has never been anything like it, nor will there ever be again, not even after the years of many generations. Ahead of them, fires devours. Behind them, a flame consumes. Ahead of the land is like the Garden of Eden, like behind them is a desert waste. For them, there is no escape from it. Am I teaching you to fear? Yes, I am. Zephaniah, meaning something that's hidden. That's what his name means. In chapter number 2, he tells us. Where's he say? Is it 2 or is it 3? Three. Here it is. Woe to her is filthy, defiled. Woe to the tyrant city. She would not listen to the voice, wouldn't receive correction. She didn't trust in Yahweh. She didn't draw close to her Elohim. Her leaders there with her are roaring lions, her judges are desert wolves, and who don't even leave a bone for tomorrow. Her prophets are reckless and treacherous men, and a Kohanim who profane the holy and do violence to the Torah. Okay. Yahweh, who is righteous, is there among them, never does anything wrong. Every morning he renders his judgment, every morning without fail. Yet the wrongdoer knows no shame. I have cut off the nations. Their battlements are ruined. I have made their streets ruined. No one walks in them. Their cities are destroyed, abandoned, and unpeopled. I said, surely now you will fear me. You will receive correction so that her place will not be cut off by the punishments I brought on her. But no, they only grew the more eager to be corrupt in all that they do. Therefore, wait for me. You better hear what he's about to tell us. Wait for me, for the day when I arise to witness against you, when I decide to assemble the nations, to gather kingdoms together, and to pour on them my indignation, all my furious anger, for all the earth will be consumed in fire of my passion. For then I will change the peoples, so they will have pure lips, and they will call on the name of Yahweh. All of them will serve me. You hear what he said? On with one accord. It's going to be a day. Yahweh will send someone to warn us and to tell us, this is what I said. It could be anything that has it. Guess what it's going to be? It's going to be something that's in the Torah. Yahweh will not do anything that you and I are not aware of, because he goes, how do you know that Yahweh sent that person? Yahweh says, you know a person I sent because they're going to tell you what the Torah of Moshe says. So if somebody came to us and told us, hey, on this day, I need you to wash your clothes and I need you guys to be gathered together and go sit in your living room or go in your house or in your closet, would you do it? On this day? And he ain't gonna give it to one person, he'll give it to all of us. So Conjure will get a dream or a vision, or somebody hear it and call me and I'll be like, okay, I heard it. It will all be tripped out, because that's what Yah does. He's going to tell his people what he's going to do. He'll never do anything without it. It's not going to be a peekaboo deal. So if it's not a peekaboo deal, then you and I know for sure that the day of Yahweh is coming. Judgment is coming upon this earth. And he'll give us enough advance warning. But even when he gives this warning, Kel, he says, I'm going to still bring my people out to the wilderness and judge them. So what the nations are going to receive, and they're going to receive the full poured out fury of Yahweh. Israel's going to be protected and brought out, and he's going to sanctify his name by showing who his people are, by not destroying us. Just like he did when we came out of Egypt. He brought us all out, sinners and everybody. You guys are all coming out. Anybody who joined themselves to Israel, you leaving too. Then when he brings you out to the wilderness, he says, now we're going to find out who the rebels are. Because I'm going to speak to you face to face now.
So basically everyone's going to be dying in the nations while we're in the wilderness getting judged.
Yes. Everyone else in the nations going to be brought to an end. He said, I'm going to bring the nations to an end. I'm going to make a full end of the nations, but I won't make a full end of you.
Sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, it is. It is scary. And guess why? That's why he calls it a terrible day, because it is a terrible day, Kill. So when we look, and that's what the day that you and I are looking forward to. Look, I didn't want to accept it, but there's no other way around it. There's no other way around this day, because it's not anything but it's a day. The word of Yahweh came to Yeremiah, or this word came to Yeremiah from Yahweh. This is what Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, says. Write all the words I have spoken to you in a scroll, for the day is coming. It's a day, it's a yom, says Yahweh, when I will reverse the exile of my people, Israel and Yehudah. Says Yahweh, I will cause them to return to the land I gave to their ancestors, and they will take possession of it. Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. Yay, we get to go home. But what we're not reading is after what he does say. These are the words Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and Yehudah. Here is what Yahweh says. We have heard a cry of terror. Like you just said, you're afraid and scared. You need to be a cry of terror. And in a fear and not of peace. Ain't no shalom. He says, ask now and see, can men give birth to children? So he's seeing a vision here. What is he seeing? He's seeing men. Why do I see all men with their hands on their stomachs like a woman in labor with all their faces turning green, not pale, green? Like they lost all the blood in their body. Why? This is what the prophet sees. He sees visions and he sees dreams. When it talks about the word of Yahweh came unto Yeremiah, it wasn't that he just spoke to him, because remember, Yah doesn't speak to Yeremiah and speak to any other prophet like he did Moshe. He speaks to them in dreams and visions. So this is a vision that he sees. He says, and now, and see, look, ask, can men give birth to children? Why then do I see all men with their hands on their stomachs? Like women in labor, and every face turned pale. In context, he just told us, tell the house of Israel what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring them out of exile. So that's the context. That I'm letting you know this before. When I bring them out of exile, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to bring them out of exile. Write this down, because I'm about to show you what I'm going to do. And here it is. How dreadful that day will be. There has never been one like it, a day. And he calls that day a time of trouble for Yaakov. But out of it, he will be delivered. To go to your point, I'm going to bring you into the wilderness. On that day, still talking, says Yahweh Zavaoth. Now you see, it says Yahweh Zavaoth, meaning of Yahweh's armies. His armies are the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the asteroids, and everything. His armies are the insects and the locusts and the hailstorms, the wind. Everything is his weapon. I will break his yoke from off your neck, and I will snap your chains. This is why he said, I'm going to reverse your exile. Our exile reversal and this chain being broken is when that day comes. Foreigners will no longer enslave him. When? On that day. When people's hands are on there. That's when the chains are going to get snapped, when men look like they're giving birth to a baby. Instead, they will serve Yahweh, their Elohim, and David, their king, whom I will raise up for them. When? When I bring them out of their exile, when I reverse their exile. I'm going to raise David up from among them. So what? What Kel? What David? What Chandra? What Gennaro? What Nikithia? What? He tells us, don't be afraid. Why? My Yaakov, my servant, Why is he telling us not to be afraid, says Yahweh? Don't be alarmed. Why? Because you're going to see the fire. And it's going to blow your mind. So I have to let you know that you're going to be delivered. I want you to don't be afraid because you're my servant, says Yahweh. Don't be alarmed, Israel, for I will return you from afar off and your offspring from the country of your exile. Don't be afraid. After I'm finished doing what I'm doing, then you're going to be quiet again. You're going to be again quiet, and I'm going to bring you to rest, and no one's ever going to make you afraid again. Why? Because I am with you to save you. From what? From that day. That day that I'm bringing, I'm here to save you from that day. I'm with you to save you, says Yahweh. I will finish off all the nations where I have scattered you. However, I will not finish off. I'm not going to finish you off, but I will discipline you only as you deserve. I will not completely destroy you. I will destroy some of you, but not all of you. Do you see that? For here's what Yahweh says. Your wound is past healing. Your injury is most severe. No one thinks your wound can be bandaged. No one thinks you can be bandaged. No one thinks you and I can be healed. You have no medicines that can heal you. That means that the nations cannot heal us from our devastation and our wound that Yah put upon us. The only one who can heal Israel is Yahweh. All your friends have forgotten you. Everybody that you ran to, all the nations you thought going to spare you and give you shelter and all that kind of stuff, they've all forgotten you. They no longer seek you out. You're no longer needed in their community because you've already built up everything. You built their nation for them. The United Nations don't need you. The United Kingdom don't need you. The United States don't need you. Africa sold you. Nobody was your friend. They don't need you anymore. They're all you've forgotten. They don't need you. I have struck you down as an enemy would. I've done this to you. I've punished you as a cruel man would because of your great wickedness and because of your sins, your many sins. Why are you crying about your wound and your pain or past healing? I have done these things to you because of your great wickedness, because of your many sins. But all who devour you will be devoured. All your enemies will go into exile. Those who plunder you will be plundered, and those who pillage you will be pillaged. I will restore your health. I will heal you from your wounds, says Yahweh, because they called you an outcast, Zion, with no one who cares about her. Thus says Yahweh, I will return Yaakov's captives to their tents. I will take pity on his dwellings. Cities will be rebuilt on their own tails, with palaces where they supposed to be. From them I will come thanksgiving and the sound of people celebrating. I will increase them and they will not be decreased. I will honor them and they will not be despised, hated any longer. Their children will be as they used to be. Their community will be confirmed in my presence. I will punish everyone who oppresses them. Their leader, who I'm going to raise up for them, will be one of their own after I take them to exile. Their ruler will come from among them. He's in exile with you guys. I will cause him to come close and let him approach me. For otherwise, who could guarantee his heart enough to approach me, says Yahweh. You got to be called by Yah. Yah knows who this individual it is. You will be my people and I will be your Elohim. Look, the storm of Yahweh, bursting out in fury, a sweeping storm whirling down on the heads of the wicked. Yahweh's fierce anger will not abate until he accomplishes the purpose in his heart. In the Akarith Hamayim, you will understand. Your word of your lesson today that I told you was called a car, which is one of your vocabulary words in your Hebrew lesson that I gave you today. Here it is, a car right here. And you said a car means before or after. And here Akarith means the days afterwards, the last days. You will understand. In the Akar Drith Hamayim, in the final days, you will know what I'm saying. Now, do we not know what this means? Do you not know that Yahweh's coming down? Do you not know about your exile? Yes, you do. Because Yahweh chose for us to understand it. Do you understand what he's saying? He's letting us know off the top, I'm killing everybody that's supposed to die. I'm going to put an end to the nations. So if you're caught up in the nations, you think they're your friends, let them be your friends, because I'm killing a majority of them. There will be some left. When I talk about making a full end of them, let's be clear. Their governmental systems and everything is crashing down. Everybody is coming down to absolute zero. And then I'm going to pillage them and I'm going to plunder them. I'm taking all their gold. I'm taking all their silver. I'm taking all their precious stone. I'm taking everything from everybody. And I'm going to restore you back. And I'm going to make you the wealthiest people on the face of this earth. And those people are going to be your slaves. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And you're going to celebrate after I finish doing it. Those of you who are my servant. So I've already told you, don't be afraid, because I know that this day is going to scare the living hell out of you. I know that. And when it happens, I don't want you to run back to your tent because you have nowhere to run. When Yahweh comes, nobody will be able to go anywhere. They're going to have to endure the fire. They're going to endure it because they won't have nowhere to go. They're going to try to hide. He's going to find them. He said, David said, if I made my bed in hell, you're there. If I try to dig a hole in the ground, you're there. Wherever I go, that's where you are. So no one's going to be able to hide. No one is going to be able to hide from Yah. So what do you do? What do you understand? I understand I'm in the last days. I understand that King David is among the exiles. He's not going to come out of heaven. He's with the people. People make a joke all the time and say, well, you're King David. And I said, I hope I am. But I don't know that until Yahweh calls, because he's the one who calls and say, how can this person approach me? A lot of people want to be the king, but it's not the one that can say that they want to be. It's the one that Yahweh will raise up. Whoever Yah has decided to be the king will be the one. And a lot of times we think it has to be some, religious or spiritual thing. It could be an average person that Yah calls, that he says this person's heart is bent towards me. And I've already assigned them to that. I've already appointed a person to be my king. I already appointed a prince, but he's going to be from David's line, and his name will be David. His name will be David. That's what his name is going to be. People say, there's only one King David. No, there is only one King David, but this in particular descendant, his name will be David. Okay. I don't have an alter ego. I'm just telling you, that's what it says. Would I want to be the king? Yes. Yeah. I don't have to be a certain, I don't have to be, all I have to do is be the descendant. And all I have to do is know that Yah has approved my heart. Any of you guys could be David. Any of you can have David. One of your sons can be David. But David, that's his name. And Yah is going to raise him up from among the exiles. And he's going to be the shepherd over Yahweh's people when he takes them back out of their exile. So what's the point? Why did I show you that? I showed you that to let you know that the day of our salvation is on the day of trouble. Chandra, I want you to make a video about that. I want you to make a video about that, because, and you could do it far better than I can, and you can do it in a shorter period of time. For me, I take hours. For you, you do it in 20, 30 minutes. Please make a video about that, that the day of our trouble is only one day. The day of our salvation is a day of trouble. And Yah says, I'm going to deliver you out from that day. You don't have to be afraid, because I'm going to save you from that time. It's a terrible time. It's a time of crying and grief, and people are going to be holding their stomachs because there's nothing that they could be able to do, Kale, to get out of their situation. Because then they're going to understand, oh, he's here. There's nothing we can do. They couldn't return us if they wanted to. They can't say, oh, here they are. Here's Israel. They ain't going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to do that. The wicked will not be able to just get away with anything. It's going to be too late. The Yahweh's going to come upon them like that. But he's going to warn us and tell us it's coming. How do you think the children of Israel felt when Moshe told them, okay, get this lamb, have it in your house, and on the 14th day, I need you to do this. Put it over the door, stay in the house, don't go outside. How about the woman that Elijah spoke to? Hey, what I need you to do, go do this. Go keep getting that grain, you know? How about Elisha? Oh, you got a problem getting oil? Keep doing this. Do what I tell you. He told her, feed me first. That's what Elijah told her, feed me first, and then Yahweh will feed you during the famine. It could be stay in your house. Go gather everybody and stay in the house and put a red cloth outside the window. It could be that too, couldn't it? It could be anything. But if you don't hear and listen to the Torah of Moshe, when that time comes, you won't listen. And that's another part of the test. So according to the Torah, everything is called instructions. So instructions, we have to follow them to the T. When he told him to march around Jericho, he told him, Walker, don't say nothing. And on the seventh time, when you come around the seventh time, when we get to the end, then you make your shout. No one make a word until I tell you to. It's about instructions. So whatever the instructions are, trust me, it's going to be out of the Torah. Because then you'll know, because it says, thus saith Yahweh. Yahweh doesn't want us to trust in a man. He wants us to trust in what he said. So it's going to be something that he said. That's what it's going to be. Again, sorry to go in circles, but it means if I told you to wash your clothes, I'm coming to you on the third day. The third day in Hebrew is on a Tuesday, on Yom Shishi, or Yom Shalishi. I might come to you on this day. You know, I need you to wipe down, you know, rinse the front of your house off, wherever you at. You know, get a cup of water and sit and put something in and drink, put some honey in and drink it 7 times. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be miraculous. But it's going to be a terrible day, Kel. Just like that video we saw tonight. That girl was not playing. She was not just telling you about some dreams. She's telling you, she said, it happened. It's real. I saw it. She was, you know what I'm saying? And she said, I know nobody gonna believe me. But I do. I believe her. I'm laughing because I'm scared. Because I laugh when I'm scared. Oh. Could you guys imagine? The whole world going black and then the sun, and then all of a sudden this fire comes out. And you hear this laws, shofar sound, what you gonna do? What can you do? Nothing. You just got to endure it. But if you're not Yahweh's servant, oh boy, if you're not Israel and you ain't joined with Israel, you need to be terrified. You're going to put your hands on your stomach. Then Yahweh will be glorified in front of the nations, won't he? Oh yeah. Then like Isaiah said, remember? He said, then they'll tremble. Then they'll know your name. Oh, really? Yeah, then they're going to know who Elohim is. They're not going to know because somebody's doing a missionary journey and Paul's and the apostles are talking and they're doing a communion. That's not how people get to know Yah. They only get to know Yah by the fear. That's the only way you're going to get to know Yah is through fear. You're not going to know. You need to hear what I told you. The only way you're going to get to know Yah is through fear and trembling. You understand? Fear. That's what we're lacking. He said, why don't we fear you? Because we don't keep your ancient ways. I ain't gonna keep you guys all night because I can keep going. I can keep going. I can keep going. Yahweh came this way. So you can always fear him. So you can tremble. You be afraid at his presence. Because he wants you to know him. So you won't sin against him. That's why he came this way. He didn't come any other way for us to play games. He came this way so you would fear him. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, I promise. Last place. So you can have a great dream tonight like she did. I promise, the last place, okay? And then you guys can go and go to sleep or go do whatever. Here it is. Deuteronomy chapter number 4 says this. I'm just going to read verse 10 for the sake of time. Or 8. What great nation is there that has laws and rulings as just as this entire Torah, which I'm setting before you today? Not a great covenant, not an entire covenant, the entire Torah, which is the teachings, which I'm setting before you today. Only be careful to watch out for yourselves as diligently as long as you live, so that you won't forget what you saw with your own eyes. What they see? Fire. So that these things won't vanish from your hearts. Rather, make them known to your children and your grandchildren. The day that you stood before Yahweh your Elohim at Koreh, when Yahweh said to me, what did he say? Gather the people to me, and I will make them hear my very words. Why? So that they will learn, Lamed, to hold me in awe and fear and dread as long as they live on the earth, so that they will teach their children. You approached and you stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain blazed with fire to the heart of heaven, with darkness and clouds and thick mist. Then Yahweh spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of words, but you saw no shape. There was only a voice. He proclaimed his covenant to you, which are the 10 words. He ordered you to obey the 10 words. That's the covenant, in which he wrote them on the stone tablets, the 2 of them. And at that time, Yahweh ordered me to teach you the laws and the rulings so that you would live by them in the land you're entering and take possession of it. Why? Because they said they didn't want to hear it. They said, we can't endure it. So God said, okay, Moshe, you come and I'll teach it to them. And then you go ahead, teach it to you, and you teach it to them. Therefore, watch out for yourselves, since you did not see any shape of any kind on that day that Yahweh spoke to you in Koreh from what? The fire. That's how he's going to speak to us again. Do not become corrupt and make for yourselves an image carved, having any shape of any figure, not a representation of a human being, male or female, or representation of any animal on the earth, a representation of any bird that flies in the air, representation of anything that creeps along the ground, a representation of any fish in the water below the shoreline. For the same reason, do not look up at the sky, the sun, moon, and the stars, and everything in the sky to be drawn away to worship and serve them. Yahweh, your Elohim, has allotted these to the peoples under the entire sky. No, Yahweh has taken and brought you out of the smelting furnace, out of Egypt, to be a people of inheritance for himself as you are today. But Yahweh was angry with me on your account and swore that I would not cross over the Jordan and go into the good land which Yahweh Elohim is giving you to inherit. Rather, I must die in this land and not cross over the Jordan, but you are to cross and take possession of that good land. Watch out for yourselves so that you won't forget the covenant, which is the 10 words of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and make yourself a carved image and representation of anything forbidden to you by Yahweh your Elohim, which is the first and second and the third commandment. For Yahweh your Elohim is a what? He's a consuming fire. Context, you make an image, you're getting the fire. For Yahweh your Elohim is a consuming fire. He's a jealous Elohim, and that's how he shows his jealousy, is through fire. That's why he lit the fire on Nadav and Abihu, which is Aaron's sons, because they lit strange fire before him. When you have had children and grandchildren, you lived a long time in the land, become corrupt, because that's what's going to happen, and made yourself a carved image and a representation of something, and thus done evil in the sight of Yahweh your Elohim and provoked him. I call on the sky and the earth to witness against you today. Why call on the sky and the earth? Because it's the sky and it's the earth who's going to witness what Yahweh is going to do to you. Against you today, that you will quickly disappear from the land you're crossing the Jordan. You will not prolong your days there. You will be completely destroyed. Yahweh will scatter you among the peoples and among the nations to which Yahweh will lead you away, and you'll be left few in number. There you will serve the gods, which are the product of human hands made of wood and stone, which you can't see, hear, eat, or smell. So if I send you somewhere where you're going to serve those gods, and the reason why I put you out, why would I send you to a place to serve the gods that are made with human hands and I told you not to? Oh, that's right, to test you, to find out if you're really with me. However, from there, if you will seek Yahweh, you will find him if you search after him with all of your heart and all your being. And after there means a car, which is like the last days. In your distress, when these things have come upon you, in the what? Akarith hamayim, like we saw in Jeremiah chapter number 30, you will return to Yahweh your Elohim and listen to what he says. For Yahweh your Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not fail you, destroy you, or forget the covenant with your ancestors he sworn to them. So there again, Yah tells us not to be afraid, because I already told you that I won't destroy you and I won't forget the covenant. Indeed, inquire about the past before you were born, since the day Elohim created human beings on the earth, from one end of the heaven to the other. Has there ever been anything as wonderful as this? As wonderful as what? That Yahweh has not spoken to anybody else. Has anyone heard anything like it? What are you talking about? Did any other people hear the voice of Yahweh speaking out of the fire as you have and stayed alive? Listen to the context. He's letting you know what Yahweh's going to do in context. Look at what he said. There you will serve the gods in 28, 29. From there, he's talking about in exile, from there. In your distress, where? In the nations, when you're there in the last days. 31, he's merciful, he won't destroy you. 32, making an inquiry about it and find out, has anything as wonderful as this? As wonderful as what? Has anyone ever heard anything like it? Did any other people, Israel, have ever heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of a fire? As you have heard and stayed alive, that is a clue. The answer to that question is no. It's the same questions that were in Amos. Does Yahweh not tell you before he's going to do something? Or has Elohim ever tried to take himself a nation from the bowels of another nation by the means of ordeals, signs, and wonders, and war, and mighty hand, and outstretched arm, and great terrors like Yahweh did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? Why is he telling you this after he just told you that you're going to exile? Because this is the very thing that Yahweh is going to use when he come back. Has anyone ever heard anything as wonderful as this? No. And he's telling you, I'm going to come down, and when I come, I'm going to speak. And my voice comes out of fire. So when I bring the fire, I'm bringing fire because that's my voice. And when you hear it, the people are not going to live. Only Israel. Let me calm down. Did any other people ever hear the voice of Elohim speaking out of a fire as you have heard and stay alive? The answer to that question is no. The implication is, if this is the way that he comes back in fire, when Yah speaks, will people live? No, they will die. Has Elohim ever tried to go and take for himself a nation from the bowels of another nation by the means of ordeals, signs, and wonders, and war, in a mighty hand, outstretched arm, and great terrors like all the Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Egypt before your eyes? The answer to that is no. Why was this shown to you? This was shown so that you would know that Yahweh is Elohim and there is no other beside him. And if he would make it known to the nations, how would he make the nations know it? Isaiah 63 and 64 says, the moment that you come down in fire, that's when the nations will know that there is no one beside you. From heaven, he caused his voice to be heard through what? Fire. In order to instruct us. On the earth, he caused you to see the great fire. You heard his very words coming out from the fire. That's how Yah makes his self known. Gather the people to me so they would hold me in awe and dread as long as they live, and tell their children. Why? Because that's exactly the same way he's going to come back again. When you see this fire, you'll know that it's Yah. That's why I'm telling you, don't be afraid when you see it. Because the only people that ever saw this fire and lived was Israel. And this is the only way that I'm letting the world know that you are the set apart people. That's how I will sanctify you in front of them. I'm going to sanctify you in front of them by cleansing you, by burning you through that fire and you walking out of it. This was shown so that you would know. So if I'm going to show anybody anything else, I'm going to show the world who Israel is. I'm going to show them that I did speak to you out of fire, and you guys are the only ones who lived. Isaiah said, come in fire, so they would know. Is that not what he said? If you put the pieces together, you'll find out how Yahweh is dealing with Israel. He's dealing with Israel in fire. That's how he's coming back. And if you don't believe that, I said I wouldn't do it, but y'all still having me do it. The Almighty Elohim is speaking, summoning the world from the east to the west. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Elohim is shining forth. Elohim is coming, and he's not saying silent. What does he have? With a fire devouring ahead of him and a great storm raging around him. This is what that girl saw. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth. Why? In order to judge his people, because the heavens and the earth are the witnesses. Then Moshe said, I call on the heavens and the earth to witness against you today. They're the faithful witnesses. What's in the heavens? The sun, the moon, and the stars. What's on the earth? Everybody that can see. The mountains, the earth, the grass, the trees. In order to what? To judge his people. That's why he's coming with fire, devouring ahead of him. He says this, gather to me my faithful, like he told Moshe, gather these people to me. Those who made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The heavens proclaimed his righteousness. Why? Because he's a judge. How's he going to judge the world from the heavens? With the sun in Malachi chapter number 4. The sun of righteousness. He calls the sun righteousness because it's going to use the fire and the flame from that fire to burn up the evil and the wicked. Listen, my people, I am speaking, Israel. I'm testifying against you. I, Elohim, your Elohim. I'm not rebuking you for your sacrifices. Your burnt offerings are always before me. I have no need from a bull from your farm or a male goat from your pens. For all the forest creatures are mine already. All the animals of 1,000 hills, I know all the birds in the mountains. Whatever moves in the field is mine. If I were hungry, I wouldn't tell you. The whole world is mine and everything in it. Do I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? No. Offer thanksgiving as your sacrifice to me and pay your vows to the Most High. Well, how are you supposed to pay your vow? You told Yah that you would keep the laws and statutes and the commandments. You need to call on me when you're in trouble, because there's that day coming and I will deliver you and you will honor me. You see that? That's what it is. We need to get used to that. It's fire. That's what's coming. Just like that little young woman said. She said, I saw it. I saw it. It's real. It happened. I have no reason to lie. I know you guys ain't gonna believe me. That's what she said. But it's the truth. Because everything that I just showed you testifies to that is exactly what Yahweh says he's going to do. So get ready. Prepare. Get your house in order. Get your mind right. Continue to seek Yahweh while he might be able to be found. And he will deliver you. He promised you. He promised he'll deliver you. So don't be afraid. That's what he says. So that's a command, Kel. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, Yaakov, for you are my servant. I will deliver you. Because you've been faithful to me. I'll spare you. Like I told you in Malachi chapter number 3, verse number 16, I will spare you because you had fear and respect and honor to my name. Because you've done so, I will spare you like a man spares his son who served him. And then you'll know the difference between the righteous and the wicked, those who served Elohim and those who didn't. You're going to find out that day. Then you'll know. Because there's coming a day burning like an oven where I'm going to burn up all the evil, like the wicked, like stubble. And the Son of Righteousness, the S-U-N, will arise. It will arise for me because I've executed judgment on the earth. And the whole world is going to be excited and happy because what I did is I burned away all the wicked people from off the face of the earth. Because I'm sick and tired of them doing what they're doing to people. And then you, Israel, you'll know that I'm your Elohim, and the world will know that I selected you from all the peoples on the face of this earth. And I sanctify you before their eyes because I set you apart. That's what I did. And that's what you have to look forward to. And that's exciting. I'm gonna let you guys go. I said that an hour ago, but here we are. I promise this time. Anybody with closing thoughts? I'll let you say what you got to say.
Thanks, Yahweh. That's just a good reminder just to, think about how serious it is and how we need to get ready for that day.
Yep. It's life or death, bro. That's what it is. It's life or death. Choose life. And that's what he tells us. Thank you for your contributions. Chandra, you have anything to say, Okoti?
I'm just absorbing, taking it all in. That day is like nothing that we've been taught to believe. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to envision it as I read it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
There's a show on I don't know if it's Hulu. I don't know if you guys got Hulu, but there's a series called The Path. Okay. And it's about these religious people. And in this show, there's a woman who had a vision of the end of the world. And what it was is very similar to what this girl's dream was like. And it was scary, it was terrifying. What this woman saw was complete darkness and everything being burned completely up. So it's very traumatic. It's going to be life-changing. That's what it's going to be. Just like the flood was life-changing, this is going to be life-changing. So if you want to see that, it's like, I think it's the last few episodes, but if I come across it, I'll let you know, but it's hard to envision, but if you think about it and just kind of, we're good with visualization. Just take all the lights out of the sky and then imagine fire. Imagine lightning and thunder, and imagine it's the sound of the shofar and that loudness, and imagine the earth quaking and shaking and all the mountains and everything moving. And when that happens and we see it, then you and I will know that that's Yahweh. And it's going to be terrifying. And when we call upon him, when we call out to him, Yahweh will save you. He's going to save you. He's going to deliver you because he just told us that. That's his promise. He'll deliver that from that time. But anybody that's a rebel against Yah, sorry, there's nothing to talk. That's not my business. I'm not into that. But he did say, if I did what he said, he's going to take Israel and he's going to show. It's a terrible day for all Yaakov, not some of us, every one of us. It's a one-day event. It's one day. It's not going to be 6 weeks or 150 days. It's going to be one day. And the only reason why it's one day, because if he continued, it would never, the whole earth would be destroyed. You read Malachi, he says, if these people's heart don't turn back a father to their sons and sons to their father, I'm going to exterminate and now annihilate the whole entire world. There we are. Chinero, anything?
Just processing it all. And
Yeah.
after that,
It's a lot. I don't know if you drink. I can't drink right now, but when these kind of things happen, I get me a strong drink and I think about it.
I can.
Right?
All right. My boy Kel turned me on to Disaronno. He turned us on to Disaronno. I would have a Disaronno right now with orange juice with a squeeze of lime because it does bother you. Okay, so get a strong drink. If you drink wine, have some wine and think about it.
All right, I got that now.
Okay, go get that and meditate and sit down and you guys just think about it. And you guys go, damn, this is disturbing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah.
It's like living in the movie when that happens.
Oh yeah, but it's gonna be deep because they won't be no. Let me go take a bathroom break or nothing. Our bodies are gonna, I mean, literally tremble, and that's what the fear. Yah said, "I come this way to put you in fear." And when they came to Moshe, please tell him to stop. He said, "No, he's come this way so you can fear him." So that's his intent. Yah says, "I'm going to come this way so you will always fear me." It's seeing that, you guys, that Yahweh wants us to see. So it's something that you and I cannot avoid. We can't avoid this. You can't put no distance. So whether we want to see it or not see it, doesn't matter. It's going to be shown. And the whole world is going to see it. But you need to thank Yah that you're Israel. That's what you need to be thankful for. And if you know that, you say, okay, if I am Israel, then I'm thankful, but also too, I need to get my life order right. So I'm not going to forsake him and abandon his laws just because I want to have Thanksgiving with some people that don't follow the laws.
Right.
I don't need to go buy Christmas gifts to make the kids happy when Yah says I'm going to come and people's hands are going to be on their stomach. Who knows? It might be on Christmas for them. Who knows? No one knows. But don't forfeit your right in your inheritance because you want a little pleasure for right now.
Right.
You gotta be loyal to the Creator. Yah rewards loyalty, and he rewards faithfulness. So if you and I want to be faithful, then that's what we have to do. Does that make sense? I know it does.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, I'll see you on Tuesday for class if you'd like to come. On Thursday class if you'd like to come, and then next Shabbat I'll see you again. And thank you for coming to your class today for Hebrew. And I will send you those lessons tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you. Shalom.